All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome this afternoon to another edition of live commentary coverage for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, as we are in the running of the Road America 180 at, of course, Road America for another road course race in the summer months of the Xfinity Series schedule. Getting ready for the drop of the green flag. Cars are already on the racetrack, and it looks like they have not quite gotten the one-to-go signal yet. Lights are still on the pace car for the time being, so they'll probably be going green next time by. Looks like they've moved the start time of the race up just a little bit. Drop of the green flag, I think, largely due to the fact that the Truck Series race, which takes place tonight at Richmond, will be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that is roughly going to be really close to the end of this race, probably about an hour or so after the fact, and we will have, of course, live commentary for both. So appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Union Pacific 4855 Trentman Railfan Productions. Thanks for tuning in. Joanne C., Billy Kramer, Doran Davis, Tyler Burbeck, and that is it for who is in the chat here in the early going. Triple header this weekend with the NASCAR Xfinity Series on right now. The Truck Series race tonight at Richmond, as mentioned, will start at 7:30. That will be the regular season finale there, so we'll go over those point standings once we get to that race. As far as this race here today, we'll go through the starting lineup, and then we'll get through the point standings a little bit later on in the going, again, with the moving up of the start time for this one. We don't really have much of a pre-race for you guys for this Xfinity Series race, so here is your starting order for the Road America 180. John Hunter Nemechek will be on the pole. Chandler Smith to the outside of the front row. Nemechek comes in as the points leader, looking for his 5th win of the season. Austin Hill, who was last week's winner, getting his 4th win of the season at Pocono, trying to go back-to-back. He starts on the inside of row 2, and Daniel Hemrick to his outside. Sammy Smith and Justin Allgaier will be in row number 3. Jeff Burton, Josh Williams in row 4. Great qualifying effort for Williams. Starting in 9th place. Actually, hang on. They had the order all messed up, I believe. Yeah, well, let me restart that. Okay, so I was going through the starting order, and it wasn't even in order. I think they had it in order of points. Yeah, I think they had the points order the first time, so let me restart that. I apologize. NASCAR's website is all out of whack right now. They don't even have a raw feed leaderboard up for us right now. I think it went through like an update or something recently, and it definitely looks different. So Chandler Smith is on the pole for today's race. I don't even think this is right, because I'm looking at the starting grid right now, and it's showing Cole Custer on the front row. I'm not even going to go through the starting lineup. I think NASCAR's website is all out of whack. Oh, this is New Hampshire. Why is it showing New Hampshire on here? Hang on. Oh my goodness. Like, I can't believe it sent me all the way back to there. Starting lineup, Xfinity Series. There we go. Well, we're about a half a lap from the drop of the green flag, and the raw feed is available. I don't know why it took me to the New Hampshire race. That was odd. Okay, yeah, here's the starting lineup, and the raw feed is available, so we'll have a live leaderboard for this 45-lap, 180-mile event. A.J. Allmendinger will be starting on the pole in this one. Cole Custer on the outside of the front row in second. That's more like it. Allmendinger trying to get his 3rd Xfinity win of the season in the 10-car for Coley Grayson. He won on a road course at COTA, has finished top 3 in all 3 starts this year in 2023. Justin Allgaier, Riley Herbst will be in row 2. Sam Mayer, Sage Karam in row 3. Look out for Karam, potential underdog for today's race. Connor Mosack, John Hunter Nemechek, a couple Joe Gibbs Toyotas in row 4. Kaz Grala, Sammy Smith, also a couple Toyotas will round out row 5 in the top 10. Josh Bilicki with a good qualifying effort, the Wisconsin native on the inside of row 6 with Sheldon Creed to his outside, who's had good runs on road courses this season. Row number 7 will be Josh Berry and last week's winner Austin Hill. Brett Moffitt, Chandler Smith in row 8. Parker Kligerman and Josh Williams in row 9. Kligerman going to be one to look out for as well on the bubble coming into the day on the playoff standings. Jeff Burton and Parker Retzlaff, a couple teammates for Jordan Anderson Racing, will be in row 10. Row number 11 is going to be Brad Perez and Leland Honeyman. Anthony Alfredo, Catherine Legg will be in row 12. First start for Legg this season in the Xfinity Series. Blaine Perkins and Brendan Poole will be in row 13. Kyle Sieg, Stanton Barrett making his first NASCAR start of 2023 in row 14. Patrick Emerly and Dexter Stacy in row 15. Row 16 will be Jeremy Clements, Daniel Hemrick. Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg in row 17. Joe Graff Jr., Ryan Ellis, row 18. And rounding out the 38-car field today in row 19 will be Alex LeBay and Kyle Weatherman. So, again, 45 laps scheduled distance for this race. There will be stage cautions even though this is a road course race, due to the fact that it is a standalone road course race, so similar to what we saw in the Xfinity race at Portland, the Truck Series at Mid-Ohio a couple weeks ago, that there will be stage yellows and there will be a 3-minute period for teams to make adjustments on pit road, change tires, add fuel, and there will be no changing of positions during the stage breaks during those non-competitive pit stops as well. Bentley Potts, Jeff Sperry also welcome into the stream. Yeah, watch out for Kligerman. Definitely starting mid-pack, which is a bit concerning, but he has been very fast on road courses and super speedways this year specifically. So, yeah, I think Kligerman could have a good day going for him. A lot of drivers that were in the Xfinity Series last year or in recent years have had experience, of course, at this racetrack. This is not the first time the Xfinity Series has raced here. The Cup Series raced here each of the last 2 seasons, but the Xfinity Series has been racing here every year since the early 2010s. So it'll be very interesting to see how these drivers will attack this road course today. Experience will definitely come into play. It's why drivers like Justin Allgaier starting towards the front could be a favorite in today's race. And AJ Allmendinger as well, I think, are going to be probably the 2 to look out for. Cole Custer with 2 wins on road courses this season. Chicago straight course race just a few weeks ago. And, of course, at Portland back in June as well on the other standalone Xfinity Series race. But Allmendinger definitely going to be the favorite here in this one from the pole. And he will be my pick to win today's Xfinity race. So, got to pick AJ. Again, he's finished top 3 in the first 3 starts he's had in the Xfinity Series this season. He is still running the Cup race tomorrow at Richmond. He's going to have to start at the rear of the field for that race because he did not qualify or practice that vehicle today. So, despite being on the bubble for the Cup Series standings, very interesting that he is running this Xfinity race for Kaulig today, sacrificing that starting position on a short track nonetheless. In the series he's racing for points in, but trying to go for another win. This is a newly repaved Road America, so a lot of speed and some high-speed corners, more so than what we've seen in years past. We have seen cars go off-track, practice and qualifying quite often. Who will keep it on the track and make their way to victory lane over the course of the next couple of hours? Green flag is going to wave as they enter the Geico restart zone. AJ Allmendinger gets the launch. 22 laps in stage 1, and we are underway in Wisconsin. A lot of jockeying for position. Those first 2 to 3 spots. Fight for the bottom continues. One car almost clips the grass. It was Sam Mayers. He runs side by side into turn 1 underneath the 24 car. That would be, again, ran by Sage Karam. Through the first corner, Allmendinger easily clear of Custer by about a car length and a half down towards turn 2. Another hard 90-degree corner. A lot of hard 90-degree, sharp, flat corners on this racetrack. A lot of elevation changes as well during the course of the couple of long straightaways and the high-speed sections on the track. Headed down towards the on-speed turn 4. Heavy braking in turn 5. Calamity corner in the Cup Series the last couple years in turn 5. Pass was made for Justin Allgaier on Cole Custer. Custer's going to try the crossover move to the inside of turn 6. And he's going to be able to complete the pass. Allgaier to the back bumper of the 00, and he's not going to be able to get back underneath him. Once he made contact with the back bumper cover of Custer's race car, it kind of squared Custer up, stalled the momentum of the 7 out, and now Riley Herbst is looking to attack for third on the 7 of Allgaier. In the process of waiting to do so, it'll be Sam Mayer quickly trying to take over fourth from Herbst. Herbst goes a bit wide, almost making contact with Mayer, and drops in line in between both him and Karam. Allmendinger's already about a half a second, if not more, ahead through the first 3 quarters of the opening lap of the race. Sheldon Creed and John Hunter Nemechek run nose to tail with each other. They had a little run-in a couple of road races ago. Big block by Creed now in that next straightaway, trying to keep the car behind him in line yet as they go through the kink. Cole Custer remains in second. Allgaier still all over the back bumper. Down through turn 11, a 14-turn road course at Road America. I could be wrong on that. It might be more than that. At the start-finish line, AJ Allmendinger is going to lead the first lap of the race. No contest. Already a 2.3-second lead. Some of that was due to the battling between Custer and Allgaier on the opening lap of the race. Mostly single file onto the main straightaways. They worked their way up that gigantic hill and then back downhill towards turn 1. Allgaier pulling out of line, attempting to make a pass. Maybe just a little bit of a fake. Hard dive bomb by the 26 of Gralla as he makes the pass on Sheldon Creed. Allgaier in turn 2 to the inside of Custer. That right-hander completes the pass. We'll see if Custer gets the drive off and attempts the crossover again. He is not going to be able to do so. He'll try to stay in line in the draft now behind Allgaier in the longest straightaway of the racetrack, or at least the longest on-speed portion of the racetrack, heading down into turn 6. 180 miles an hour down to about 60, trying to make that corner, maybe even slower speeds than that as we get later into the tire stint. Creed's got the 19 car right behind him of Connor Mosack as well after Gralla made the pass on that opening lap of the race. Creed was all over John Hunter Nemechek for the first 3 quarters of that opening lap, but then he had a slip-up in one of the finishing corners and as a result lost a spot, fell back to 9th. Still pretty tightly compacted really are the positions 2 through, I'd say probably 5 in the running order. 6, one car off track. Back on track again, it's the 35, tail end of the field. It's Stanton Barrett. His first Xfinity start of the year. He's ran some road course races in the NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series the last couple of seasons. A lot of these standalone events he's been racing for the Xfinity Series, hence the reason he is in that car today. Sam Mayer clips the grass just a little bit off the kink, and that slows his speed down quite a bit. Riley Herbst attacks. They'll go side by side through the next corner. And Herbst is going to not quite be able to overtake Mayer for 4th. Chandler Smith, who qualified a little bit further back in the field, trying to get by the Mario Gosling 092 car. Josh Williams will be able to do so. That'll be a pass for 14th on the racetrack. Headed for the start of lap 3.
16 over the 92.
By the way, the race is on NBC today. Your local NBC affiliate will have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on the call. Dave Burns, Jeff Burton, and Dale Jarrett.
But Riley's not going to give up. He's still got the preferred line going through the right-handers here. And who's in the groove, Jeff? Is Riley in the groove or is Sam on the outside?
I just think that was, again, some very respectful driving. Riley could have driven it in there a little bit deeper and wisely on lap 3 making the decision to lift.
Yeah, and you can see they both slowed down a little bit more, not exactly sure what to expect, because you can see John Hunter Nemechek in the 20 gain a little time on both of those as they kind of tiptoed their way through that.
Another aggressive braking zone move by the 19 car, Connor Mosack. He's got a lot of road racing experience in the Trans Am Series, has raced on this racetrack, has a really limited amount of racing compared to most people his age. Most people his age started racing at 5-6 years old. He started much later, trying to make up that experience, driven all kinds of different race cars, doing a really nice job here.
Sheldon Creed drives for Richard Childress Racing in that red and white number 2. Matt, you have more?
Dave, the RCR cars came to Elkhart Lake with a slightly different setup, trying something new compared to what they've run at Portland, Chicago, and Coda, and it did not work. Both cars, Sheldon Creed told me, were just simply wrecking loose almost every lap, and it wasn't due to the new pavement, so they called the audible, went to something they've run in the past, much more comfortable going back to Plan A, and he told me that this is one of the things that they need to do to generate some good momentum moving forward and to survive today here at Road America.
Teammates running there, the 2 and the 21.
Whoa, Connor Mosack got himself in trouble right there.
14 corners, you got to nail all of them, right?
Well, that was a good save. I thought he was going to go out of the park there for a moment.
You know, you keep attacking this. You know, even though there are cars, and we can look at more experienced drivers up here understanding how fast they can and can't go. But when you're trying to learn and make this really fast and do this lap after lap, you're going to find yourself in a really difficult spot. That was I guess he saved it or just got really fortunate. I'm not sure, but combination.
Well, there's some pavement off to the side there. Here at Road America, there's lots of configurations you can race as an amateur, and that's part of another track they run. That was why it was nice and smooth and paved. That helped him a lot.
Well, let's give you the benefit of the doubt, saying he knew it was there. That's where he decided to push the car.
Works for me.
Problem is as we saw in practice yesterday, that if you get off and you catch this grass, the way the surface is there, that it's tearing up the splitter, the front of these cars, quite a bit. And so you have to be extremely careful and calculating as to where you try to make that.
See the 11 of Daniel Hemrick, the 18 of Sammy Smith. Most of these guys started in the back. They've gained a lot of spots. Hemrick up 15, Sammy up 12 spots. So, with the competition caution coming at lap 10, if Sammy Smith could drive himself up to 12th-ish and the 11 car here get it, follow him up there, that's a big gain. And now they're in the fight.
That's right.
And they've done a really good job in a very tough situation to get up through the field. Sammy Smith, a very young race car driver, got off to a hot start beginning of the year. Things cooled off some. He's been very consistent lately. That's what you like to see out of young drivers, rookie drivers, those yellow stripes on the back bumper. But it's calmed down lately. A lot of consistency, and now today he's bringing a lot of speed.
Smith had to go to a backup car. Hemrick's team had to replace an engine. No replacement here. A.J. Allmendinger running strong and out front at Road America.
We'll go through the full field running order for the first time in today's race as we are on lap 4 of 45 out of completed laps. A.J. Allmendinger's lead is cut down to just 9/10 of a second over Justin Allgaier, who was the fastest car on track the last lap. Cole Custer sits in third, Riley Herbst fourth, Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5. John Hunter Nemechek in 6th, Sage Karam 7th, Kaz Gralla 8th, Sheldon Creed 9th, and Connor Mosack is 10th. Austin Hill at 11th, Parker Kligerman in 12th, Brett Moffitt is 13th, Chandler Smith 14th, and Josh Bilicki is 15th. 16th place, Sammy Smith, Daniel Hemrick in 17th, Josh Williams 18th, Jeb Burton 19th, Josh Berry is 20th. Parker Retzlaff in 21st, Anthony Alfredo 22nd, Blaine Perkins 23rd, Alex Abay 24th, Ryan Sieg 25th, Jeremy Clements in 26th, Brandon Jones 27th, 28th is Brendan Poole, 29th, Kyle Weatherman, and Ryan Ellis is 30th. Kathleen Legg in 31st, Joe Graff Jr. is 32nd, 33rd is Brad Perez, Leland Honeyman 34th, 35th is Stanton Barrett, Patrick Emerly 36th, Dexter Stacy 37th, and Kyle Sieg rounds out the field in 38th. All cars still on the lead lap around this 4-mile road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. You're listening live to the Road America 180 on KRC. We'll keep our coverage going here, ad-free up to this point. And we'll take a look at the point standings coming into the day for the NASCAR Xfinity Series as well. Currently, your regular season points leader is John Hunter Nemechek. Has a couple wins in the month of July already. Austin Hill also has 1 win in July. Each have 4 on the season. It's a 13-point difference between the two as Nemechek leads Hill. And then Justin Allgaier at 55 points out of first place in third, still within 1 race of the regular season championship lead. And currently, we are in race 20, so we will have 6 races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series once the checkered flag flies today. Drivers who are locked into the Xfinity Series playoffs with a win this season, again, Nemechek and Hill each with 4. Cole Custer has 2 wins in the summer months of June and July. Justin Allgaier with 1 win at Charlotte. Chandler Smith has a win early in the season. Sammy Smith had a win early in the year at Phoenix, and Jeb Burton won at Talladega. So those are the 7 drivers locked into the Xfinity Series playoff field. 5 drivers as of right now can still point their way in as 12 drivers do qualify for the playoffs. Currently, Josh Berry is the highest in the standings without a win so far this year for JRM, and he has 110 points over the cutoff line. 86 points to the good is Daniel Hemrick after a good couple of weeks for him. He was right on the bubble about 3-4 weeks ago, but once they got to the Chicago Street Race, he's really turned his season around. Sam Mayer is 9th in the standings overall, plus 78, a little over 1 full race ahead of the cutoff line. Sheldon Creed was right around the bubble, still is as far as his points positioning goes, but he's plus 49 points, and Riley Herbst is the last driver above the cutoff line at plus 26. Parker Kligerman, first driver below that cutoff line behind Herbst, minus 26, both running in the top 15 right now. Brett Moffitt, minus 49 points, and Brandon Jones, minus 54, are the only drivers within 1 race worth of points than everybody else behind Jones in the standings in a must-win situation. So again, we are currently at lap 6. Justin Allgaier going to take the race lead away from A.J. Allmendinger is starting to slip back a little bit following the commercial break. Cole Custer now to second as well, as Allmendinger starting to fade over the course of this long run, and maybe he has burnt through his tires a little too quickly. Whatever the case is, he is definitely slipping back. We noticed right before the commercial break it was Allgaier who was the fastest car on track. Didn't realize Custer was staying right there with him. that is the case. Probably took Allgaier a little bit of time to get around the 10 car as well, but now all of a sudden it is a solid run here for Allgaier in the early going as Allmendinger starts to fade just a little bit. Increments right now, positioning-wise with the top 10. Well, we'll wait for the start-finish line this time by. So that way we'll get a update on exactly where Allgaier and Custer are ahead of the 10. They are quickly pulling away. They have about 4 or 5 car lengths over the 10 car of Allmendinger, who definitely seems to be struggling with rear grip because that rear of his race car is sliding around a lot. Remember, with this pavement being a lot darker, it's probably taking in more of that Wisconsin sun over the course of this race. Again, it is a freshly repaved racetrack, so it might be just a little bit slicker. Usually on freshly repaved tracks, it'd be not as slick and it'd have more grip, but because it is a road course, a lot of high speed, high braking zones on the racetrack, rules could be reversed in that essence. Cole Custer still closing on Allgaier, hard braking into turn 1 as he tries to narrow that gap, about a half a car length lower than the 7, trying to catch just a bit of clean air. Of course, on road courses, it's pretty much a one-groove racetrack, so one specific line he's still trying to hit. Just a matter of trying to arc his corner off a bit different to help the turn in the center. There's a competition caution that is also scheduled for lap 10 in today's race, so we're about 3 laps away from the Comp Yellow. Allgaier only a tenth of a second ahead of Cole Custer in second. AJ Allmendinger already 1.4 seconds off the lead. Riley Herbst is 5 seconds back in fourth, and Sam Mayer is 5.7 seconds off the lead in fifth. Chandler Nemechek in 6th place is 7.5 seconds off the lead. Sage Karam in 7th place is 8.3 seconds back. Kaz Gralla 9.1 seconds off the lead in 8th. Sheldon Creed 10.7 seconds off the lead in 9th. And Connor Mosak is 11 seconds off the lead in 10th. Battle for the lead continues between Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer on the racetrack right now, as we have about 15 laps to go in stage 1, and again about 3 laps until the competition caution. Once they get to lap 10 and all of the cars on the lead lap cross the start-finish line, that is when the yellow flag will wave for the Comp Yellow. Custer seems to be just a little bit quicker than Allgaier at this point in the run, just having difficulties trying to make a clean pass on him. These two went back and forth in that second place position for about the first 2 to 3 laps, which allowed Allgaier to pull away. Once they got single file, they quickly ran the 10 car down a few laps later, and that is why they're quickly out in front of him now. Allgaier with a big slide coming out of the kink. He is definitely struggling with the handling of that race car, and he's not able to get all of it out that he can. Good news is he's a couple seconds still ahead of Riley Herbst, so as long as he runs the pace he is running right now, he shouldn't lose another position before the comp caution does come out. Allgaier did pick up a little bit that last lap, as he was a bit faster than Herbst as well. So he's got that going well for him so far. Custer right behind Allgaier, long straightaway the racetrack, uphill, trying to stay in the draft. He's got a run at the start-finish line, pokes to the inside, but as soon as he pulled out of the draft, he quickly began to lose momentum. We'll see if he's going to try to break a little bit deeper into that downhill hard 90 turn 1, and he does not. He's going to be patient, realizing it's still early in the race. He'd like to get the track position if he can get to the lead prior to the restart, so he would have that lane choice. That first lane choice, of course. Wouldn't be at risk of potentially falling back to third like he did when he started on the front row underneath Allmendinger at the beginning of the race. Very spaced out right now around this very, very long road course. Longest road course in the NASCAR schedule for the Xfinity truck and the Cup Series. Again, 4 miles in length. 14 turns. Custer to the inside, that's turn 6, underneath Allgaier, door to door. Gonna battle each other cleanly, now into that inner loop. Allgaier gonna hang on. Custer gonna have to sit behind the 7. He took his chance at it, gonna dive low again, big block by the 7. Undercut into the next left-handed turn there towards turn 8. Custer still can't get back underneath Allgaier as Allgaier desperately holds on to the race lead. Couple more corners to make it back to the line. Allgaier will have 2 more laps till that competition caution comes out. Getting through the kink. Allgaier a little bit wider. He was more on the curbing than Custer. Custer might not have carried as much throttle through that corner, and as a result, Allgaier is going to gap him by a couple car lengths into turn 12. Herbst still trying to run down A.J. Allmendinger. Sam Mayer still remains in 5th, right behind Herbst. They're within a second of each other, about 0.8 of a second, the difference between Herbst and Mayer on the racetrack. It's actually the closest battle in the top 10 outside of the battle for the lead that we continue to watch on screen between Allgaier and Custer. Custer really gets off of 14 well. Allgaier going to go to block this time. As soon as Custer pulls out of line, though, he begins to lose momentum as soon as he pulls away from that draft, which tells me that Allgaier, although he is not getting back up to speed initially off the exit of the corner as far as throttle goes off turn 14, he's getting through the shifts better than Cole Custer, which is allowing him to hang on to that race lead down towards turn 1. Because Custer just can't seem to poke out a line and actually keep that momentum up. Austin Hill has now entered the top 10 for the first time today. Parker Kligerman just on the outside looking in, and Sheldon Creed's lost a few positions from the start of the race as he's back to 12th. Custer again charging on Allgaier. Through turn 5. Gained a little bit of ground. Turn 6 is where he got underneath Allgaier the last lap but couldn't make the pass on him. This time he's going to get to the left rear corner panel. He'll stay alongside the second lap in a row. Custer in turn 6 gets underneath Allgaier, but that puts him on the outside lane for turn 7. He's going to try an undercut move, but he's going to be on the outside again towards turn 8. He arcs the corner off a lot wider with his apex than what Justin Allgaier was able to run. Allgaier slips the rear tires, but still holds on in front of Custer. Great battle for the lead going on right now between the 00 and the 7, racing each other very respectively in these early laps of the race as well. And even with the battle that they are having, because they haven't ran side by side through a lot of corners, they're still putting a little bit of a gap over Allmendinger, who is just over 3 seconds off the lead. Herbst has ran Allmendinger down as there's a battle for third starting to increase. Sam Mayer going to make that a 3-car battle for third if Herbst takes too long to get by AJ. Now they're over 4 seconds off the lead as they get back to the line for lap 10. And again, the competition caution will come out once all of the lead lap cars cross the start-finish line. So they could end up racing most of this next lap before that competition caution comes out. So where Custer has been the best, maybe versus Allgaier, down around turn 6, 7, and 8, we'll see if he'll have a chance to try to strike there once again. Slow car on the racetrack right now as well. The 07 well off the pace, trying to limp his way back. Custer again at the start-finish line, pulled out of line. They get past the pit exit wall. Herbst is going to pull out of line as well on A.J. Allmendinger. And he is going to have to duck in line as well down towards turn 1. Haven't seen anybody be able to actually go side by side in turn 1. And now the 07 car has stalled out on the racetrack. Herbst to the inside of Allmendinger in turn 2 for third. Caution flag is out. Herbst was ahead of A.J. Allmendinger, but they will have to go through the last scoring loop to dictate whether or not Herbst had the position over the 10. At the time of the caution, he was ahead of him, but I'm not sure where the scoring loops are at on this racetrack. So we'll have to wait for timing and scoring. Catherine Legg at the 07 car, by the way, again this weekend, making her first Xfinity start of the season, road course ringer. Making the start today, and unfortunately for Legg, her car has stalled right in between turns 5 and 6. She was coasting, and as she was trying to get up that bigger hill towards turn 6, in the middle of the incline is where the car stalled out. So she's likely holding the brakes right now, and going to have to get a push back into the pits, it appears, from the safety truck. Hopefully her race will continue. She's definitely going to lose a lap here. And because everybody was still in the lead lap, it's going to be very difficult to see any sort of lap traffic today, with the fact that the Xfinity race is obviously shorter than the Cup, so it's only 45 laps, and because there's stage cautions, with it being a standalone event, it's going to be very difficult to see any sort of lap traffic in this race. So track position for those leaders is going to be king for sure. As we head to the commercial break here again during the competition caution. And we will take our first break of the race. You're listening live to the Road America 180 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And of course, we will get back into our coverage on the other side of the break. Maybe we'll see some pit stops for the first time. I'd imagine we're going to see pit stops for the first time. Robert Perkle, thanks for tuning in. Godzilla Legendary 2078, Terry Lewis, Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. So I'll put a poll in the chat for who you think is going to win today's race. And because we're starting this just after the start of the race today, we'll go a little bit into stage 3 before I close it. So we'll go put AJ Allmendinger in there. Put Cole Custer, because he's won 2 road races this year. And we'll put Justin Allgaier. I think these are going to be the 3 favorites today, and they're running all in the top 5 right now. All started 1 through 3 as well. Who will win today's NASCAR Xfinity? Road America. So I just asked you guys in the chat who you think will win. We're up to 26 likes. Our goal is 100 on the stream, so be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. And again, our goal is 100 likes for today's Xfinity race. We'll also try to get there for another stream again later tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Truck Series at Richmond. Don't want to miss it. Regular season finale for the Truck Series. Last race of the regular season. Must win to get in if you are outside of the points by a wide enough margin, of course. We'll actually highlight the Truck Series point standings while we're under this competition caution right now, just because it is an important race for the Truck Series schedule. As far as the regular season championship goes, Zane Smith crashed out late at Pocono last week, which probably has taken him out of the regular season championship hunt. He still could win the regular season championship if Corey Haim has a problem. Zane Smith capitalizes by scoring a lot of stage points and race points, but they went for the stage win last week, and it helped, but they put themselves back in traffic in that final stage, which kind of turned into a bit of a wreck fest in the middle going of that final stage, and Zane Smith, again, got taken out of it, so he didn't end up with a very good finish. I think going into the final stage, he was only like 8 points behind Haim, and now he's 42 back. So those are the only 2 drivers battling for the regular season title. As far as the cutoff line, though, very, very tight. Matt Crafton only 9 points ahead of Stuart Friesen. Tanner Gray is minus 47. And then Chase Purdy minus 54. So they could point their way in if Crafton ends up DNFing. And then obviously Friesen has some sort of issues. And they capitalize by scoring a lot of stage points. But more than likely in a must-win scenario. Matt DiBenedetto is plus 31 points. And then Nick Sanchez is plus 21. So Sanchez plus 21, not necessarily a lock. And neither is DiBenedetto if they do find early trouble. And again, Friesen and Crafton get the stage points as well as a decent finish. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out later tonight. Again, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time will be that regular season finale at Richmond. We used to see the regular season finale for the Cup Series at Richmond all those years in the original Chase format, but going to bring it back here with the trucks. And I believe 3 straight road courses for the Truck Series as well. They race at Richmond this week, and then they have Milwaukee coming back to the schedule here in a couple weeks, and then IRP, Indianapolis, in early August as well. So, yeah, again, 3 straight short tracks, 2 very old surfaces. Actually, 3 very old surfaces because Richmond has been very, very bumpy as well. GoatX, thanks for tuning in. NASCAR Vintage 17, welcome to the stream as well. Yeah, I can't show the race for copyright reasons, so just the commentary for you guys. Pit row will be open this time by. It'll be interesting to see who pits, who doesn't. I believe they will have to pit for fuel before the end of stage 1, so I'd imagine most of the field will come down here. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe this will be live pit stops, so I think it'll be the first of 3 attempts to be able to make pit stops for today's race. Maybe we see drivers stay out, who knows? Could be a part of the strategy game. Maybe stay out now and then just pit before the end of the stage under green, because you, although might not have the personnel necessarily to be able to do that in the Xfinity Series, it is a 4-mile road course, so you could probably take a little bit of time and still come out ahead of the leaders. So definitely going to be interesting to see how the strategy is going to play itself out during this competition caution. Again, first yellow of the day, as we have about 35-ish laps to go. Brandon Jones not off to a good start in this race today. 27th, didn't qualify well. Road courses have definitely been one of his many really Achilles heels into this season, I should say, in general. His first year at Junior Motorsports has just not been good at all. In fact, Junior Motorsports as a whole, 4 cars, only 1 win to show for, and that was the win at Charlotte for Allgaier. Allgaier is 3rd in points. Josh Berry leaving to go Cup Series racing next year, taking over for the soon-to-be retired Kevin Harvick at SHR. He's still winless on the season. I think we mentioned he was 7th in points coming into the day. But again, no wins. And not a must-win situation for Brandon Jones, but the way that team's been performing this year, they're going to need a lot of help if they don't get a win. 54 points is enough to climb out of, but the closer you get, the more points you're going to have to make up per race. And today he's looking like he's going to lose points. Herbst is in the top 10 right now, currently in 4th, so he's looking to get a lot of stage points the way things are looking. And obviously, Brandon Jones is not, unless he potentially stays out here, but I would imagine we're going to see a lot of tire fall off in this race. It's weird. Some of the fastest laps of the race have been ran the first, the second, third lap as they were up to speed, because the first lap you're not really going to end up running your fastest because you're still trying to get up to speed from the start-finish line. But then you look at guys like Herbst and Mayer. They ran their fastest laps right around lap 6, lap 5. Same goes for Sammy Smith and Brett Moffitt. So it's kind of hit or miss with exactly when drivers were falling off. Maybe they were kind of picking up speed as the run went on, began to feel more and more comfortable with their cars. Remember, not a lot of practice time in NASCAR anymore. This is not a new track, so they didn't get a full 50-minute session. And because of how long this road course is, I would not be shocked if most of these teams had 5 or less laps of practice before qualifying earlier today. So teams are on pit road, and they are making adjustments.
But what else are they working on?
Well, looking at that 7 car, Jim Pullman and Justin went through a long debrief of just how that car was on the first run. The one concern, the fuel pressure gauge was kind of bouncing. Also, he felt like that the tires, now keep in mind, fresh pavement, it is jet black, even hotter than what it normally would be here. He felt like they needed to go down in pressures even more to help with more forward fight later in the run, Kevin.
Good start for the Stewart-Haas racing cars. Cole Custer up to 2nd, looking for road course win 3 in a row. Said he's a little bit loose here. He's going to take the 4 Goodyears with this free pass stop, essentially. Right behind him, you have the 98 Monster Energy car, Riley Herbst. He said he wants a little bit of a chassis adjustment, but they've been debating it. If we do this, it's going to impact the car here and vice versa. So you always have to give something up. But Herbst in good position right now. He comes in to this controlled stop, running in 4th, Matt.
And service almost complete on A.J. Allmendinger's number 10. Now, Chris Rice told Allmendinger just to be patient and calm. We've got a huge game plan that we're going to execute when you hit pit road. At least 5 different changes on this 10 car. No forward bite. The car was really skatey all over the track, so they made a number, especially going down in the pressures in the back to try to help him on corner exit. Remember, they came here only for one thing, a trophy hunting here at Elkhart Lake. A lot of work left to do here, but remember, he is the Xfinity Series all-time road course winner. Incredible stats, so we'll see what he can do here with these changes on the 10.
Keep checking out the front of the car there, making sure that the air inlet for the radiator.
Got the leaf blower trying to cool the engine down and blowing it through the radiator. I don't think I've seen that before. Instead of going underneath the hood to put the coolers, connect the cooler or cooling system, cooling machine to the engine. Of course, they only had a 3-minute period here, so leaf blower it is. One of the unique things you see during a pit stop, you see baseball bats, you see leaf blowers, and adamant objects. We've seen some Swiffer dusters. See it all in a NASCAR pit stop, especially on the road courses with no live pit stops taking place again here today. Cars One Boy, thanks for tuning in. Alrighty. Looks like they are headed to commercial break right now. God Rides a Harley, thanks for tuning in. That was my sister, by the way, walking behind me. She's back, by the way. Hi. Oh yeah, definitely going to be warm in those cars today. I don't know what their temperature is there versus where it is where I live. I mean, it's in the Midwest. I would imagine Wisconsin's maybe a little bit cooler. I guess we could check. I mean, they're under caution. Let's see here. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's 83 here. 81, yeah, I figured it'd be a little cooler. 81 feels like 82, but I would imagine with the black asphalt, the track temp has got to easily be well over 100. I mean, usually it gets above 80 or above, and it's sunny outside. It's easily about 120 degrees in those cars. And the warmer it gets, the hotter it gets in there too. Pretty much at about like 20 to 25 degrees. Easily. Especially during the daytime. Let's see here. Oh, that's under caution. Never mind. Yeah, those pit stops were not live, so our leaderboard remains the same. Justin Allgaier is again scored as the race leader at the time of that competition caution lap 10. Now the caution is going to take a lot longer here at Road America as well because again it's a 4-mile road course. Lap times under green flag conditions about 2 minutes 20 seconds ish, give or take. So under caution it could easily take 4 to 5 minutes to get a lap in. And this is our first of 3 guaranteed yellows. Again, stage cautions will be in play today. Will lengthen the race out a little bit as well. And I think that's part of the reason why they did move the start time of the race up just a few minutes, trying to make sure this gets done in timely fashion. Because the truck race later today is still on Fox, but they're also not trying to necessarily run one race into the other. They're coming back from the break right now. An hour or so north of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hour and a half, maybe. Frank Powers, thanks for tuning into the stream. Got 31 likes. Our goal is 100. Well more than that watching right now, so definitely hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Again, vote in the poll in the chat for who you think will win today's race. 24 votes have been casted so far. 46% of you say that Justin Allgaier will win. 21% for each Allmendinger and Custard. Other at 12%. Usually other, it's like the top 2 every week, so it's surprising that that is not the case here in the early going, but those are the 3 guys to beat here. They're 1 through 3 in the early going. Allmendinger did keep his positioning over Hearst at the time of that caution, and the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal this time, so they will be going green with approximately 10 laps to go in stage 2. So we have a 10-lap green flag stint to start the stage with the comp yellow, and now we're going to have a 10-lap stint to the end of the stage, assuming we don't get any cautions for incident. Now, there was the competition caution. I guess technically the caution was out because the 07 of Catherine Legg had stalled out. So that is the reasoning for the first caution, but we were at lap 10 anyway, so they would have gotten the comp yellow regardless of the fact within about another half a lap or so. So that's why they just combined this caution into the comp yellow. You definitely see the tire degradation on some of the tires that are laying behind the pit wall. Trying to figure out where exactly the choose rule was. Pace car kind of pulled off the track. They were all still single file. So right before that finishing corner, and then a lot of the field has to play catch up to get back to the start finish line too. I kind of don't like where they have the choose cone. at Road America. I mean, you got guys at the back of the field that are not even caught up with the rest of the pack yet. This is the first time we've seen this, of course, today. And this could cause an incident potentially later in the race. Green flag back in the air. I really don't like that, though. There was about a quarter of the field that wasn't even caught up to the back of the pack yet from the choose rule. So it's going to be very spaced apart in the back half of the field. Driver's going to be carrying a lot more speed further back in the pack versus up at the front as well. A lot of 2x2 racing here, as you would expect. First couple corners following the restart. Allgaier quickly gets the jump out to the lead. Side by side for second between Cole Custer and A.J. Allmendinger off of turn 2. Sam Mayer right behind. Where will he go? Looks like he's just going to draft behind the 10 car of A.J. Allmendinger for right now. Try to give him a little bit of a push. Still dead even into turn 5 between Custer and Allmendinger. Near contact being made there. 00 as tightly to the 10 as he could have been. Big block now by Allmendinger, or by Custer rather. The 00 on top of Sam Mayer. Between turns 5 and 6. That's where Custer's been at his best. Now, Custer chose not to restart on the front row with Justin Allgaier that time. He actually went to the inside lane for turn 1 right behind the 7, so he was on the inside of row 2 in the restart. He still lost the spot to Allmendinger, so front row on the outside he lost the spot. And now inside of row 2 he loses the position. So Cole Custer not really timing out his restarts very well here in the early going, which could be costly the later we get into this race. And now Sam Mayer still all over the back of the 00. He's definitely got a mirror full of that 1 car. Sage Karam, top 5 positioning right now in 5th following that restart. Passed a couple of cars. Herbst fell back a couple spots to 6th. He was in the midst of passing Allmendinger for 3rd as the caution came out, so losing some points there, very vital for him. Again, he's 26 points to the good over Parker Kligerman coming into the race. Kligerman still in 11th, which is where he was at when that caution initially took place. Mayer clipping a bit of the grass off the exit of turn 14 back onto the main straightaway. It looked like Sage Karam kind of followed him there. Definitely have to trust the vehicles in front of you. And a car returning to the racetrack, it looks like at the exit of pit lane. I wonder if that might be Catherine Legg, who had stalled out a little bit ago. Kyle Sieg, 7 laps down in this race, so he pulled off after just a few laps, it looks like. And it looked like the 07 of Legg that was returning to the track. She is currently... let's see how many laps down she is. 4 laps down on our leaderboard. So we'll see if Allmendinger can actually keep up on the long run with the 7 car of Allgaier this time, because obviously that was not the case during that first tire stint of the race. He was good for about 3, 4, 5 laps, and then not so good after that 4 to 5 lap marker. I think he got past on lap 5, and then he actually fell about 4 seconds off the lead just in those next 5 laps to get to lap 10 for that first caution. And definitely was in a bad spot to lose another position or 2, and honestly, if it wasn't for Catherine Legg stalling out on the track, he definitely would have lost 3rd to Herbst. Because Herbst was literally passing him as the caution came out, but through the last scoring loop, the 10 was ahead of the 98 at the time. About a half a second lead roughly for Allgaier over A.J. Allmendinger. This lap so far, at least through the first 10 to 11 corners, it looks like the 7 car not quite as fast as the 10. But this is only the 2nd lap of the green flag run as well, which is where AJ was at his best in that first run. So maybe not surprising right now. And we'll see when we get down to about 5 to go in the stage. That's going to be the real dictator of whether or not Allmendinger is actually going to be able to keep up with the 7 car over the course of the long haul of this stage. Of course, this is the longest stage of the race with when that competition caution came out. The second 2 stages will be shorter in length. There's another road course that was like that earlier this year. I think it might have been Coda for the Xfinity Series. I can remember there being a road race for either the truck or the Xfinity Series. It was definitely it was a standalone event. Maybe it was Portland for the Xfinity Series. But the first stage was longer than the rest of the stages because they had a comp caution. And then they ended up having the final 2 stages just really short because there were no live pit stops. I can't remember what race that was. I mean, it would have had to have been either Mid-Ohio for the trucks a few weeks ago or Portland, because I don't think there's been any other standalone Xfinity events on road courses, at least. I mean, maybe it was an oval. My brain is all boggled up right now. I honestly can't remember. You guys might have to help me out in the chat. Try to explain what race that might have been. Yeah, 7:30 is the start of the truck race later tonight. So 7:30 we will go live for that one. Allgaier a little bit quicker that last lap. Actually, yeah, Allgaier about 0.2 quicker. That last lap over AJ Allmendinger. I mean, AJ not losing a lot of time yet. And honestly, the way those first 2 laps went, with AJ getting out to about a 2, 3, 4 second lead in those first 2 to 3 laps of the race, you almost thought he was just going to run away with it, but he definitely pushed way too hard early in the run. And it costed him, and I'm sure he'll learn from his lesson, as experienced of a road course racer as he is. Probably the most equipped in the Xfinity Series. He is the all-time winner in the Xfinity Series in road course races. And of course has won this season already. Sage Karam to the inside of Sam Mayer as they run door to door down the main straightaway. Karam not too aggressive with the side draft on Mayer. He'll still have that inside into turn 1. John Hunter Nemechek cooking his race car up a little too deep into the corner. Couldn't tell if the 98 swung wide trying to give him room or there was contact. There was some smoke coming out of the back of the 20 as he locked up the rear tires potentially there. Trying to break his way into the corner. He did pass Herbst, though. Herbst losing a couple points here late in the stage because now the 26 car of Kaz Gralla will also sneak underneath Herbst. And Riley in danger of falling back to about 8th place now. Big gap back to Austin Hill in 9th behind him, but 7 to go in stage 1. Riley Herbst finding himself in maybe a little bit of trouble. Contact with the 26 almost forced Kaz Gralla off the racetrack in turn 5. There was definitely contact there. Great job by the 26 of Gralla keeping his car on the racetrack. Never actually went up into the grass. A little bit of excess pavement off the exit of turn 5 that Gralla was able to use to keep his car running in the right direction there, but obviously ended up losing spots. John Hunter Nemechek very, very aggressive in his work through the field here. Obviously, just mentioned in turn 1, he kind of locked the brakes up trying to get by the 98. Had to be careful not to flat spot any tires there, but then he was all over the bumper of Sam Mayer through turn 6. Looking to get himself into the top 5 for the first time. Nemechek ran very well at Portland earlier this season. I think he finished top 3 at Chicago as well, so he's also been very good at road courses. He's been very good all the way around, though. It doesn't matter what we go to. He's got a win on a super speedway at Atlanta. He's got a couple intermediate track wins and a short track win at Martinsville this year. So any style of racetrack, Nemechek has won on except for road courses, but he still had good finishes. So maybe he can get that first road course win of the season here today. AJ Allmendinger and Cole Custer, the only ones to win on road courses for the Xfinity Series, if I'm not mistaken. No, I forgot about Sonoma. Yeah, I'm missing Sonoma. Chandler Smith won there, didn't he? I told you my brain was boggled. I'm still thinking about the long stage 1 from a Xfinity race earlier. Thought I was going to Richmond. No. That was I'm not gonna say it was never in the cards, but it wasn't. It was one of the races where I actually didn't say I was going to. I didn't go to. There's been a couple races that have been like that this year, but no, that wasn't one of them. So it looks like they're headed to a commercial break right now. Nemechek still trying to get by Mayer. Turn 6. Mayer goes wide. He missed the corner. He got his right sides up into the grass. There was no contact from the 20. Definitely forced the issue, maybe driving out of the mirror a little bit more than the windshield, causing Mayer to make a mistake there. And not only lost the spot to Nemechek, but Riley Herbst also got back around him. I'll be at Michigan next week. That is my home track. So I will be there only for the Cup race, though. So I'll still have live commentary for the Xfinity race on Saturday afternoon for you guys. But I will be there for the Cup race. Live, well, with where I'm at now, probably 45, 50 minutes south of the racetrack. So definitely a must hit. Not counting the 2020 season where they ran that doubleheader without fans. If I don't count that, it would have been at the last 6 Michigan races. So trying to make it 7 in a row. It'll be my 8th race there in total because I also went back for the August race in 2015. All right, 6 to go, stage 1. Make that 5 to go, stage 1. Justin Allgaier's got a 1.8 second lead over Cole Custer. AJ Allmendinger is in 3rd, so Custer getting back to P2. Allmendinger's 3.1 seconds off the lead. Sage Karam is 5.4 seconds off the lead in 4th. And then 5.7 seconds off the lead is John Hunter Nemechek in 5th. And Nemechek trying to pick up another spot here. On the 24 of Sage Karam. Let's battle for 4th. Remember, Nemechek and Hill battling for that regular season championship. So it is important for Nemechek to get these points late in the stage. 7th to last race of the regular season. More races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series than the Cup because the Xfinity Series playoffs is a shorter length, 7 versus 10 races. Overall, the schedule 33 races for the Xfinity Series versus 36 in Cup. Turn 5 pass made for Nemechek. That's one of his best corners on the track, too. So we've seen Custer make some passing opportunities in turns 5 and 6, and we're also seeing it for John Hunter Nemechek here these last couple laps. 66 car goes for a bit of a spin. Looks like in turn 1. Didn't go all the way out into the sand, but definitely going to lose a lot of time there. As Dexter Stacy, he was already towards the back of the pack. He'll be able to get that car whipped back around in the right direction. We continue to stay green at Road America. So that first caution, lap 10 with the 07 of Catherine Legg stalling out on the racetrack / competition caution, the only yellow so far. Lap 17, 28 laps to go, and you'll get to listen into the Xfinity Series race broadcast.
It's a little louder than paddleboarding on Elkhart Lake. A little faster, too.
Definitely.
Welcome back to the Road America 180 from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. A beautiful setting. And it's been a beautiful race for Justin Allgaier as he's just got a few laps left in stage number 1 to collect valuable stage points. And also, if you win a stage, you get a playoff point, which can carry you all the way through the playoffs. Those are big.
Yeah, that means a great deal also to have the pace to be able to drive away from Cole Custer, who's won road course races this year, Allmendinger, who's been incredibly fast. This battle for 11th and 12th. And Parker taking a little bit of look at Connor Mozak. Parker in that 48 car. I know we keep talking about it, but it matters. 1 point matters. Riley Herbst running 6. He's in position to get stage points. Parker Kligerman is not right now. He's got to go get by 2 drivers if he's going to get any stage points.
And Mozak in the blue and red 19, he is not racing for the championship. He'll get those stage points if he earns that spot. He'll take him away from Parker, if you will, but not running for the championship like Parker is.
And Parker can see them. Those 2 spots right there.
Yeah.
Those 2 cars, that's them.
But Sammy Smith is going to be, I mean, even if he gets by Connor Mozak here, going up and passing Sammy Smith is going to be tough because he has been on a mission in this first stage and has done a great job to drive himself inside the top 10.
Parker driving for Scott Borchetta and that team. First full-time ride for Parker in quite some time. Good to see it this season. Would like to put that car in the playoffs if he can. He's letting Mosak know that I'm on your tail, bud.
Yeah, I thought Parker might push the issue right there, but decided to leave that move till later.
Yeah, and I'm shocked we haven't had a caution. I mean, as much chaos as we saw yesterday, and every driver we spoke to talked about how slick this racetrack is. But now that we're into this race, and now points are going to start being paid in 4 laps for a stage end, you're going to start pushing it. Here's Parker Kligerman. He's getting offline, trying to make something happen with Connor Mosak. I don't think he was comfortable doing this early in the race, and now he's gained some confidence.
And Parker told me before the race today, I think we're a little bit better than where we qualified. We saw where we were missing. I think the race car is going to be better. He also said, I don't think I need to make a whole lot up in that first stage or in that first stint before the first competition caution. His goal was to make up about 3 positions each stage, be close, maybe somewhere around top 5, top 8, and then you can have a chance to get a really good result at the end. He's also in that camp that said, I expect a lot of attrition today and a lot of carnage. We've not seen that so far, but a long way to go.
That's right, only 1 car out of the race, Kevin, at this point. That's Catherine Legg's car. Kyle Sieg is back on track for RSS Racing. He had an issue earlier with his brakes. And the wounded 2 car of Sheldon Creed continues to make laps. Doesn't really have the speed. It doesn't look like that he's going to need to run in the top 5 today.
Well, there's nothing beneficial about what you can see on the front of that there. So, they were already struggling with their car, and then to have that damage, you're just taking away speed right there. So making for a very, very difficult day. And I would have to say that probably Sheldon Creed and his team, who came in here with a pretty decent lead as far as being on the bubble, they don't want to give away any more points than what they have to.
Came in plus 49 to the cutoff line. Remember, just 12 cars, 12 drivers go to the playoffs in the Xfinity Series. 16 in Cup, just 12 here. So it's a tighter group, and right now Sheldon is in position 11. 49 points to the good as the day started.
You can see behind them, there's Daniel Hemrick, done a nice job driving up through the field. Josh Malicki, that red and white car, that's Jeff Burton. Jeff's having a good day, so they're running 16th. That team's done a good job this year. They've run the most laps of everybody in the series, and for a young team trying to establish themselves in this series, that's so important. And running well also. He's won a race earlier this year, sitting and running 16th on a road course, and getting laps in. It matters so much, DJ, to help build you as a solid race team rather than constantly fixing race cars.
Yeah, and I think that's probably been something that Jeff has found that, hey, the more laps I get here, the better I'm becoming. And with this race team, we're not tearing stuff up, so we can improve week to week. And you really see that here. They got themselves into the playoffs with that win. So a lot of good things happening for this young race team and driver.
Yeah, behind him, Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith, a young race car driver. He has a lot of speed. Learning these road courses, not quite the experience on road courses that a lot of people that he's racing around. You see him racing. Oh, no, trouble right there. Something coming off of the car. Chandler
Hopefully
Smith.
it's not a brake rotor.
Brakes.
Yes.
Oh,
my gosh.
man.
Chandler Smith hard into the wall heading into turn number 1. Jeff, it looks like he applied the brakes there and shattered the rotor.
That is exactly what happened. And a wise move by Chandler Smith.
Yep.
When that happened, I am pretty sure he turned the car left to make contact with the wall. Now that is exceptionally difficult to do. But if he doesn't do that, that's what the black wall, that's what he hits head on. Instead, he turns the car to the left, gets it into the wall, scrubs the speed off of it, and never makes head-on contact.
You see the foam that came out of the car, that is between the driver's compartment. Good news there. Chandler Smith climbing out after scrubbing the wall, taking off the outside bodywork.
I'm telling you, what Jeff pointed out right there, now that he's out and we see that, watch as this happens. And he realizes at this point, once this starts to happen and he's got no brakes, that what was ahead of him was not a good situation. No way of slowing this car down from this point other than, what's the left turn right here?
Scrub speed off on the wall. Oh, that's still a hard hit on the driver's side.
It's exceptionally hard, and I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you make yourself do that. And for a young race car driver to have the wisdom to do that, see, the car doesn't drop or anything. He turns the car over there. I was questioning whether he knew to do that or not, but every indication says that was on purpose.
Just destroyed that Camaro. He's a teammate, by the way, to A.J. Allmendinger in the race today. He's already won a race. Here it is in real time.
So this thing, it just explodes. It's on the brake. Tons of heat in the brake rotor. The brake rotor explodes. You hope Josh Berry didn't get any damage, and now he knows he's not stopping.
Yeah, look at the speed of that car at that point still. Wow.
And the noise from inside the race car when that happens, it is an explosion, and it scares you to death when it first happens. It is, you can't, it's so loud and so violent, it's so immediate, it's impossible to describe what that feels and sounds like.
Best news of all is that Chandler Smith hopped out of this car, the AMR safety team quickly to his aid, but we saw Chandler get out under his own power. Now he'll go get checked out by the medical officials on site. So Chandler Smith's car will be towed away. A few bits and pieces, but thankful that the driver is okay after this huge impact at Road America.
Hard hit for Chandler Smith down towards turn 1, which will take him out of the race. His car absolutely destroyed. Lost brakes going into probably the fastest corner, or one of the two fastest corners on the racetrack. Ended up turning his car left against a concrete wall, trying to slow it down. Obviously hitting that concrete wall at an awkward angle that still had a lot of impact, but maybe not as hard of an impact as what he could have had down towards turn 1 with no brakes into that corner. So thankfully he is out of the car. He is okay, and he'll be headed to the infield care center. It looked like he may have gotten the wind knocked out of him a little bit, as you could probably expect. But hopefully everything is going to be good there with Chandler. And once you get a word from him following the infield care center visit, of course, I'll let you listen into that as well. This is going to take us to the end of Stage 1. Caution came out on the final lap of the stage. Justin Allgaier will win his 6th stage of the Xfinity Series season. Cole Custer ends up 2nd in Stage 1. A.J. Allmendinger 3rd. John Hunter Nemechek 4th. Sage Karam 5th. Riley Herbst 6th. Kaz Gralla 7th. Austin Hill 8th. Sam Mayer 9th. And Sammy Smith in 10th. I'm not sure exactly where Chandler Smith was running on the racetrack. I think he was battling with... I could be wrong saying it was with Sam Mayer. Wasn't exactly sure where Smith was running at the time of the incident, but he's definitely not running anymore, and his day again will come to an end. Catherine Legg off the racetrack once again, and Kyle Sieg did make his way back onto the track, so he may pass Smith for position for the end of this race. 36 on back is only 1 point anyway as far as the standings go, so Chandler really isn't going to lose any more points than what he has already lost by not making it to the end of this race. Of course, not even to the end of either stage, so no stage points at all for him. Sport highlights every day at 1082. Thanks for tuning in. Tortolita Mendez, thanks for tuning in also. Let's see, Mark Witkowski, Philip Moore, Regine Huddleston, thanks for watching. Crazy impact. Had the actual race broadcast going on at the time of the hit. So you've probably heard my instant reaction to that, but that was very vicious contact. And no safer barrier. Just completely sheared the left side of the car off. The whole front bumper just popped off the race car, and all the foam on the driver's side door of the 16 also taken off. He was battling Josh Berry for position. So Berry is currently 17th. So he was running in 16th at the time of his hit. That was a hard hit. Even the left rear tire came up off the ground. I'm not sure if they're going to have to make repairs to that wall out there towards turn 1. But that was wild. That was about where I was sitting. Road America a couple years ago, and I went 2021 for the Cup race. Definitely a hard impact.
What we think that we know it, that he did to avoid dangerous, but a much more dangerous situation because that sand would have not even slowed him down. We're talking about the fastest part of the racetrack right there, the high speed that you get, and with no brakes.
There is sand to slow the car before a tire barrier, but then it's concrete after that, and I don't think you want to be there.
You also have to wonder, his teammate, A.J. Allmendinger, has been complaining about brakes. And that has to be of concern for the 10 car of Allmendinger. And, what can you do to prevent that from happening? Typically, those things explode because you have these are long straightaways. They get cold, and then they get super hot all at once. And you may want to actually put some brake to cover the brake cooling up some. Now that seems counterintuitive to make it hotter, and that's the problem. You don't really know how to prevent that from happening.
So as the field comes through the final corner and up toward the start-finish line, it will end stage number 1, and Justin Allgaier will get those valuable stage points and that even more valuable playoff point by finishing first. Justin has some this year. He's not got the most. He's only got 10 coming into today. The most is John Hunter Nemechek with 24 heading toward the playoffs, so he'll be glad to add one more today.
Well, John Hunter's going to finish 4th in this stage, and I think he's got a very fast race car. We haven't seen the end of him. And again, that battle that we keep talking about between Parker Kligerman and Riley Herbst. Riley finished 6th. Parker finishes 11th. Riley gets points. None for Parker.
And 2 cars, Sage Karam and Kaz Grala, from Sam Hunt Racing finishing in the top 10, Kevin.
So I think that gives us a good opportunity to talk to Sam Hunt. What do you make about what your Toyotas are doing so far here? And is there even a better opportunity to move up higher?
Yeah, I think we've just been really pleased with the progress we've seen, especially in our road course program. We put a lot of work into it the last couple weeks. Sage and Kaz have done a phenomenal job all weekend, and yeah, a lot of racing left, but both of them are really happy with their GR Supras right now. So just happy to see progress. Thankful for everybody that believes in this program. I feel like I don't really deserve credit for any of this. I've just got a lot of good people here and back home that make this thing work.
Sage tells me you guys have been talking for a while about trying to find an opportunity to work together. This is a pretty good first run, isn't it? What do you make of what he's been able to bring to the program just for a couple of days?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I've always thought a lot of Sage. He's seemed to show speed really with anything he gets in, and we've been talking about an opportunity for a long time, and we were able to put a unique one together this weekend, and I'm glad we did, because he's definitely helping our program already and competing for a win today, which is special.
Good start for Sage Karam and Kaz Grala. Dave.
Kevin, his best finish so far this year, 22nd at the street course of Chicago. So a nice big improvement for Sage Karam. Justin Allgaier wins stage 1.
So there will be pit stops soon to follow for the Stage 1 break. Again, Justin Allgaier, your Stage 1 winner. Just over an hour after the drop of the green flag for today's race. We're a little over 3 hours away from the drop of the green flag for tonight's regular season finale for the Craftsman Truck Series. Tune in for that one. Again, 7:30 tonight, we'll have live commentary, flag-to-flag coverage. And our flag-to-flag coverage of tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race, I'm going to have to look up the start time on that as well. I think we're going to be looking at about 2:30. Yep, 2:30 tomorrow. So 2:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow afternoon, and then 7:30 later tonight for that. Sputtermouth, thanks for the $1 super chat. I can't scroll up on my screen to look at comments that are posted like within the. Let's count here. 1, 2, 3. So once like 12 comments roll past on my YouTube studio page, I can't see all the comments, so I missed that $1 super chat. I saw the chat revenue was at $1. I was like, oh, somebody sent something. So that's why I opened up my stream on another tab, because I could actually scroll back up and look at it there. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for the support, and thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Ethan Chua, also welcome into the stream. Try to shout out anybody who is in the chat that I see throughout the course of these races. We have just under 100 people watching right now. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 100 likes today. And again, the Xfinity race is on your local NBC affiliate, so if you're wondering where you could watch that, maybe you're looking on USA Network, hey, the Xfinity race isn't here for some reason. That's because the Xfinity series is on NBC this weekend. Now, the Cup race tomorrow will be on the USA Network still. And then tonight's truck race on Fox Sports 1. Of course, they are carrying the truck races all the way throughout the course of the season once again this year. Now, the new TV contract up at the end of 2024. So next season, we'll still have Fox NBC covering the NASCAR races. But it was announced earlier this week. In fact, I believe yesterday morning it was announced that the CW will be taking ownership of the NASCAR Xfinity Series for 7 years from 2025 to 2031. So every NASCAR Xfinity Series race will be just like today. It'll be on local television. All you need is an antenna and a TV, and you can watch it. You don't have to pay it for anything. So it does sound like most of the Xfinity not only races will be on there, but as well as practice and qualifying will more than likely all be on the CW as well. So that's awesome for some of you NASCAR fans that maybe can't watch the Xfinity Series every week because most of the races are on cable. That will not be the case anymore, and you won't have to download any streaming either on top of it. So bonus there for a lot of both new and older fans trying to keep up with the sport or get into the sport. And anytime you can see more racing, the better. It's going to be very curious to see what the Truck and the Cup Series will be on channel-wise. The Xfinity Series on the CW, that is interesting that a whole series is taking place on one channel like that, very similar to the Trucks on Fox. The difference is that at least with Fox, they still cover the first half of the Cup season as well as Xfinity. So it's not out of the ordinary that they would carry the full channel. It's weird that like an outlying channel that isn't, more than likely isn't going to cover any Cup races is going to have the full Xfinity schedule. I don't know if that's maybe ever happened in the history of a NASCAR. I'm not sure exactly like what the air dates and air times were for the Xfinity Series like back in the 80s and 90s if they were when they were on TV for flag-to-flag coverage. I have no clue exactly what that was for. I know like Cup Series was like on CBS, ESPN, TNN back in the day, but I don't know about the Xfinity Series necessarily on when they were aired because I wasn't around then. So very interesting, unprecedented to say the least, but excited to see what they'll bring coverage-wise for the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the next almost full decade. So as far as this race goes, they are on pit road. We will be having pit stops. Red flag will be waved, and each team will have 3 minutes to make adjustments to the race cars. Changing of positions will not happen, so everybody will maintain their position from where they were at the end of Stage 1 to now during the Stage 1 break. Again, no live pit stops because this is a standalone Xfinity race. We've seen that with other standalone Xfinity and truck races over the last few years. So here is the pit reports and the updates on your favorite Xfinity drivers.
Going according to plan so far for the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Very pleased with the pace and the feel that he has in that 7 car. It started a little bit more on the tighter side than he would have preferred on this run, but overall he likes how it's working, especially in the brake zones. Kevin?
Cole Custer in the 00 says he's a little bit too free, but he's concerned about how much of a change he'll make because he doesn't want to hurt the entry to turn 3. They think their car is good. If they can get up and around Allgaier, they think they might be better than him. Meanwhile, right behind him, teammate Riley Herbst is dealing with overheating brakes a little bit, really struggling to stop, so they're going to adjust the tape a little bit. Also going to go back to the way the car was before. He's dropped a couple of spots back to 6. They think they can get him back up there. The way the race started, they think the car is really good and can move forward, Matt.
And meanwhile, down here in the 10 of A.J. Allmendinger, the guy that everybody pointed to as the person to beat coming in, especially over that run in qualifying. At this point, though, the biggest issue for the 10 is they're chasing an electrical issue, which he cannot run all of the fans that he would like to run on this 10. Had a long conversation with Chris Rice a few moments ago, and they're having to kind of rotate what they turn on the car. Overall balance is sort of there, but it does not have the feel and the grip that he would like. Allmendinger, the biggest issue Chris Rice told me is they're trying to calm the driver down. So much high expectations coming in and all these issues so early on, Dave, as the driver a little bit sideways here in the 10.
Oh man, I can imagine. Jeff, what's he going through? What's the crew doing?
Well, so because of the electrical issue, they're afraid to turn the car off because with an electrical issue, if you turn it off, it might not get started. So you can hear it running. So you can see what the pit crew has done. They've got fans, and they've pointed them into the ductwork that blows air into the radiator so the engine won't overheat.
And the brakes.
And yes, the brakes are certainly, they're obviously not getting hotter sitting here, but just trying to get air through them. And that may have something to do with the teammate Chandler Smith having a brake issue, just trying to get heat out of them. But you don't think it's a big deal. But if you roll out on a racetrack and your water tip's too high and it never comes back down, then that can affect the way the car drives. I'm sorry, the way the reliability of the engine.
So, Dale, what do you think? These stops now, which have a lot of time and you don't lose your place on track, as long as they stay within the max time there, this is probably an advantage to him having these stops today.
Well, it could work. We'll see exactly how this works out. What it is doing is allowing them to see if they can maybe diagnose and possibly fix the problem, because normally under normal circumstances, they wouldn't even be thinking about trying to fix this and diagnose that. The time goes by pretty quickly, but you have high expectations coming in here. Everybody made him a huge favorite to win this. AJ made himself a huge favorite. His expectations coming here were, hey, they're going to have to come beat me. Well, so far, he struggled in this first stage to make things happen the way that he wants to.
AJ works his way back up to the front where he finished. We'll work our way to a commercial and come back and get stage 2 started.
Fans scattered all the way around Road America. It's good to see, even with the standalone Xfinity and truck races, to see good crowds on hands for those events. And a good one on hands for today's Road America Xfinity race, especially with them losing a cup date still. Great to see the locals showing out. Sharita Cooper, thanks for the $1.99 super chat as well. Appreciate that. First super chat from you also. That I saw at this time because I just flopped back. So yeah, I appreciate the super chats, guys. Be sure to hit that like button if you guys have not done so yet as well. That also helps the channel out a ton, helps these streams out a ton, get them recommended under other related NASCAR content on the race weekends. Let's see, we're at 44 likes right now. Our goal is 100, so we are just at the end of stage 1. We're about halfway through the race right now, so let's definitely run that like counter up. And again, be sure to vote for who you think will win today's Xfinity race. We will end this poll just after the start of stage 3. 60 votes have been casted so far. Currently, Justin Allgaier at 38% of the votes. Cole Custer at 13%. AJ Allmendinger at 35%. So very close between AJ and JA. Justin Allgaier there. And then other at 13% tied with Custer as well. So very, very tight poll right now. I'm curious to see who's going to win that. Who will be your guys' fan vote for this race. Bradley Jean John, thanks for tuning in. It might be Jean John. Whatever it is. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody showing out here today. A little Saturday afternoon Xfinity Series racing. And we still got 2 more races to come yet this weekend. Always listen on my phone while I'm in the garage. Awesome, man. This is like a radio-style broadcast with one person in the booth. It's basically what this is. Instead of like a typical radio-style broadcast where you'd have like 4 or 5 people. Gary Jansen, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Yeah, that was a hard hit, Chandler Smith. Reason we are under the caution still. It ran into the end of the stage, so it kind of lengthened this yellow out quite a bit because they were having to make 1 lap there, get to the start-finish line, and then obviously the cleanup and opening pit road, so... God Rides a Harley, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the you've already been watching, I don't know why I said that. I meant to say thanks for the $2 super chat. Super chat commercial challenge, yeah, there we go. I'm able to look at the chat a lot more under caution, so it's good communicating with you guys back and forth every race. Appreciate that, though. Helps me out a ton. Helps channel out a ton. Hopefully we've got some bigger, better ideas coming for these live commentary streams as we progress forward, of course. Every donation will go a long way into that. I'm not sure if they're going to get the one-to-go signal this time by or not. I'm not a fan of where the choose rule is located, or the choose cone is located on this track. It's located right before the final corner. And we only had about half the field actually catching back up with the rest of the cars on track. Here's Chris Rice standing in with Matt Yoakum.
As far as the issue that he had maybe going on with Allmendinger's car?
I don't think so. We get those brakes pretty hot on Chandler's car, and it's good that we build safe race cars, because that was something we don't like to see in colleague racing, so I'm glad Chandler got out, and it looked like it exploded a rotor. Maybe we had a bad rotor. Maybe we had a bad batch of them, but
No, I don't feel like that's a problem. We're having all kinds of electrical issues with AJ's car. We had him at Sonoma, and obviously we didn't get them fixed, so we got to go back to the drawing board on that. But thanks to Matt Collick for letting us use AJ Allmendinger up here, and we just can't conquer this place. This is one of the places that's been tough, and but everybody in Collick Racing, we're going to work hard to leave up the gutter protection and leave water solutions. That Chevy is not going to give up. We don't give up at Collick Racing, so just glad Chandler's okay, and we can fix race cars. We can't fix drivers, you know.
Okay, the SFT data showed that he was well over 170 miles an hour when those issues took place for Chandler Smith.
Wow, Matt,
Test
thanks.
how they build these machines.
Yep, here is the wreck again, Matt Yoakum. Appreciate that interview. That's where the brake rotor Chris talked about it shattered, Jeff.
Yeah, and we believe that Chandler turned the car to the left to lessen the impact. We didn't see the car drop on the front, so we don't see any indication that the car veered to the left by itself. A bold move and a brave move to do it.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I don't know I could have ever gotten myself there.
Talk about the curves.
Headed to the Geico restart zone to begin stage 2. We'll have unofficially 21 laps to go in today's race. Justin Allgaier has the control car for the restart on the inside of the front row. Cole Custer to his outside. Green flag back in the air. They'll race down towards turn 1. John Hunter Nemechek potentially going to pull out of line in the inside of row 4. Will he try to go 3 wide? He does not. He's still side by side, though, underneath Riley Herbst. Sage Karam in the 4th place position in that 24 car, going to remain single file through turn 1. Almost gets underneath Custer. Still going low. Custer with a big block down towards turn 2. And he's going to be able to hang on. Oh, no. Riley Herbst goes out into the grass. And Austin Hill has to go around and miss him. Herbst gets sideswiped by the 43 car, who got turned from another car trying to miss the 98, who was sitting in the outside lane. And there is no caution. Somebody's got a lot of smoke with a lot of damage, and I believe it might be Sheldon Creed in the 2. It is. There's a tire rub on the right rear fender of Creed's race car as they go down towards turn 5. It is definitely caved in, and he's going to have to bring that car to pit road before anything serious happens there. Herbst is still sitting on the racetrack. It looked like he started to get it turned around. He is still sitting, and we'll see if we end up getting a caution. We will if he sits there any longer. We got about 10 laps to go in stage 2. And Riley Herbst, who was on the bubble coming into this race today, is now in a situation where he is going to be last on the lead lap with less than 20 to go. And he is still having issues trying to get that car fired up. He is showing 1 point to the good over Parker Kligerman as of right now. Kligerman has gotten his way into the top 10 with that spin from Herbst. And the caution flag is finally out for Riley Herbst sitting in the middle of turn 2. Kligerman was side by side for position with John Hunter Nemechek as well, it looked like. On the racetrack, Kligerman is battling for 7th. He was actually 10th on the restart, but was right around 7th or 8th there with John Hunter. And they're going to show a replay to see exactly what happened with the contact. And it looked like the 26 got pushed into the back of the 20, which then made contact with the right rear of Herbst's car. Now, Herbst did get crunched right around that right front fender pretty hard by the 43 of Ryan Ellis, who went sliding in well after the fact. I think Ellis got hit from a car from behind, which turned him into the 98. And then there was contact that initiated that spin for Herbst. So Sam Mayer gets into the back of the 26, who then gets into the back of the 20, which sends Nemechek up into Herbst. And in fact, the 26 car of Kaz Grala was able to get by Nemechek and obviously the spinning Herbst car. Austin Hill had to go into the grass to miss Herbst, so he loses about a dozen positions. And he falls from inside the top 10 all the way back to 27th is Austin Hill now. A lot of damage in the suspension on the 43 of Ellis' car, and I wonder if the same may be said for Herbst and why he is stalled out on the track. 9 to go, stage 2. And this is not a good position with Kligerman in the top 10 looking for stage points, a good finish. He was 26 points behind Herbst coming into the day. No stage points at stage 1, though, for Kligerman. And I believe 5 for Herbst for finishing 6th. So that gap was 31 points going into the second stage. But obviously with the issues now for Riley Herbst, innocent bystander. He was on the outside lane, turn 2, and had a chain reaction of events where 3 cars ran into the back of one another underneath him and took him out. But I would definitely put the fault of that on Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer definitely seemed to have caused that. I know the 20 made contact with the 98, but that was on Mayer, who hit the back of Grala's car, who then hit the back of Riley Herbst's car. "108 degrees in Nashville yesterday." Jeez Louise. It usually doesn't get like that warm there. Like, it gets humid and gets warm, but temperature-wise, that's like desert temperature. That's like Houston, Texas. San Antonio, like, that's like south. Like Phoenix, Arizona this time of the year. It's pretty warm. Yeah, I'm not complaining. It's a nice day here. It's like 83 here today. It was warm the last couple days, but today it's pretty nice out. Let's look back in the chat, see some other things going on there. We're at 47 likes, so still run that like counter up. 47 likes so far. We'll take a quick break here, and then we will get back to the action. 106 in Tulsa this week. Yeah, I don't complain about heat really here, just because I know a lot of places have it warmer. Now, I do complain about the cold in the wintertime. Even though there are places that have it colder, it seems to. I actually complain about the cold more in like the springtime, when I know it's supposed to be warmer outside more often than that, and it's like a day where it's like 30, 40 degrees, and I'm like, if I drove like an hour or two south of here, it'd be like 20 degrees warmer. Like that those are the days it gets stupid. But yeah, as far as this time of the year, though, I definitely don't complain about the weather. No need to. Depends on what part of the country you're from, I guess. World, for that matter. Craig Franklin, thanks for tuning into the stream. $4 ice cream sandwiches at the concession in turn 3, it looks like, at Road America. They sell breakfast there, too. I think I remember that from when I went there a couple of years ago. I think I remember seeing like breakfast if you got there early in the day. They had qualifying that Sunday morning before the Cup race, too, because I think new tracks they were qualifying that season after COVID. And they were doing that in the morning of the Cup race, trying to condense it into one day. Riley Herbst is on pit road, and they are putting some bear bond under the front of his car, trying to fix whatever damage had been taking place from the 43 car getting into him. He didn't have a lot of damage from the initial cause of the spin from the 20 of Nemechek. A lot of it, of course, was when the 43 slid sideways into him while Herbst's car was just sitting on the outside lane of the racetrack in turn 2. But again, we are under caution right now.
Yeah, it's called a restart these days. Yeah, it's not any different than the days that we had, Jeff. But yeah, it's just one of the most frustrating things. I mean, we both had situations where we ran all day and get spun out on the last lap. But this was especially for Riley Herbst in this situation. He's in a battle, and as you pointed out, having a really, really good day.
So now Parker Kligerman sitting here running in 8th spot.
Yeah.
Like, this is your shot. Like, you need to take advantage of this. You got an opportunity. Go execute here. Go make something happen and get these spots. You can't control what Riley Herbst does and how many cars he can drive up through, but what you can do is control what you can do. We know he's a good road racer, but it's execution time right now for Parker and his team. They need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, no mistakes is the biggest thing. You got to be somewhat aggressive, but you have to take advantage of this situation today.
I wouldn't be overly aggressive if I'm Parker Kligerman. You got to think big picture here. Just make it to the end of the race. You're in 8th. Make it to the end. Don't lose any more spots. And honestly, with the cars sitting behind him, I don't really know of anybody that's shown enough speed to go up there past him. Kligerman's kind of slowly worked himself forward as this race has gone on. as he has pushed himself up to 8th currently. Sheldon Creed back on the pit road, repairing that right rear damage he had after making contact somewhere around the racetrack following that race start. Somebody ran into him and caved it in. Luckily, the tire was able to make it back around, and luckily he didn't have to make this pit stop under green because he got the caution at the 98 still sitting on the racetrack as well.
Try to put a new one on here once they get repairs fixed on that quarter panel. But boy, what a weekend that they've had. Second day in a row where they've had issues in the back end of the race car. Hole in the nose when he checked up someone in front of him. I believe it was Nemechek. He bumper tagged him. Then that just started their day going in the wrong direction.
Kevin Lee, how about your
Another
side
one
of
of the
things? Sorry,
cars
Kev.
trying. Yeah, let's update one of the cars that was trying to point their way, and it was going to be tough for Brett Moffitt to be able to get that done. He was, I think, 49 at the cut line coming in. Probably needs a win. Neither is going to be an opportunity today. He went to the garage before the end of the first stage, started losing power. They had worked their way up to about 12th drivetrain issue, so he's out.
And that's huge. I mean, Moffitt is fast. He was 2 below the cut line. He needed points, and he won't get them today. We saw the big accident from Chandler Smith that brought out a caution. Matt Yoakum, we are glad to say that you have found Chandler Smith. Let's hear from him.
Absolutely, Dave. Couldn't say those sentiments any stronger than what you mentioned. Chandler, first, looking at the car, the destruction has taken place. Walk us through what happened. Did the brakes go all at once, or were they working toward that?
I wouldn't say they were working towards that. I definitely was having some brake fade throughout the runs and whatnot, but I didn't think that I was abusing them by any means like that to make them fail on me. But I was going up the hill in the front stretch, right when I tipped over the hill, I heard something snap in half, and then I felt something come off of the car, and it's like the whole front nose just dropped when that happened. And when that happened, I was like, what in the world was that? And I had to keep pumping the brakes, going down the straightaways anyways as it was at that point of the run. I went to pump them, and there was nothing there, and I just was trying to scrub speed at that point. I don't know if that was a smart thing on my end, to be honest with you, because there's no safety barriers there, and one could argue the sand would have stopped me, a softer hit or whatever, but just muscle memory, you lose brakes like that, you want to try to scrub as much speed as you can, so that's what I try to do. I hate it for all my guys. It's Quick Type Products, Chevy Camaro. We got it a little bit better there that last run, so I hate it for my guys. I hate it for all the fans here that came out and are having a good time.
Very calm when a situation like that happens, but you're not expecting it to, and you don't experience it often. SMT data says you were doing almost 170 miles an hour when that took place. What went through your mind when you reached down and you didn't have any brakes? Did you ever experience something like this before?
The only thing I've experienced like this was when my throttle stuck, and honestly, I've experienced both now. Losing your brakes is a lot worse than having your throttle stick, because you can press your big old red button, it'll cut it off. If you're fast enough, you can turn the car off and be fine. You can hit the brakes, slow down. This deal, you ain't slowing down at all. So losing brakes is a lot worse than having your throttle stick, but I don't know. It just sucks for my guys. His car is destroyed to pieces, and stuff's a lot of money to put back together. So,
what smart thinking, though, by this young man, Dave, to try to scrub off as much speed as he could do to lessen the impact when he did hit that safer barrier.
Thanks, Matt. Jeff, you talked about it. It's a snap decision.
It is, and he's questioning BJ whether he did the right thing, and my response to him would be, hey, you walked out of the infield care center. You did the right thing, right? You don't know what would have happened if you hadn't have done it, and when you lose brakes and the car is hardly slowing down at all, and yes, it would have slowed down through that sand pit, but still would have been a hit on impact.
Yeah, not much. Yeah, let's just think back. Remember Jimmy Johnson in his Xfinity career at Watkins Glen, where he lost his brakes there, I believe it was, and you pretty much went over the sand and into the barrier. And I think this barrier may be a little less forgiving than what that was. Young man Chandler Smith did the right thing here. As you pointed out, he's standing here giving us a play-by-play description of what it went through. Just admiring. But to be this young, I mean, you know, if you've been a veteran and been through a lot of situations like this, then you might say, okay, that's one thing. But to be thinking that far ahead with that, just glad he's okay. And, you know, this is a young man who's going to be in the playoffs and a great future ahead of him. DJ, what was your hardest?
So we are coming up to the restart, and again, it'll be Allgaier and Allmendinger on the front row, it appears. Cole Custer right there in contention still. We will have 7 laps to go in Stage 2 at the start-finish line. And we will see how this restart will go. We had a caution first lap following the last restart. Hopefully we get a green flag lap in this time around. Custer on the inside lane right behind Allgaier. Green flag back in the air. Allgaier waiting to the end of that restart zone to try to get the launch. Great restart on that outside lane so far for AJ Allmendinger. They're going to barrel down towards turn 1, and being in that outside lane will be a disadvantage through not only turn 1 but turn 2 as well. Allmendinger going really wide. He pushed it a little too hard. Cole Custer to second, the 26 of Gralla to third. And Allmendinger still stuck on the outside of the racetrack now into turn 2 as he falls from second to fourth. Sam Mayer to the inside of the 10 car now down the long straightaway in between turns 2. And then a couple of kinks down towards turn 5 in the hard-braking 90-degree left-hand corner. 3 wide in certain areas of the racetrack here as they try to funnel to at least 2 wide down towards turn 5. Driver's going to be more aggressive now than before. Connor Mosack diving underneath his teammate. John Hunter Nemechek forces him into another car. And Nemechek going to lose a couple spots out of that. I couldn't tell who was on the outside of that 3-wide battle, but somebody else went even wider than what Nemechek did. Parker Kligerman going to get by Sam Mayer for position as he works himself to P6. Just outside the top 5 is Kligerman. Working forward. Got to be careful, of course. Make it to the end of the race where he's running now, and he'll be within a couple points of the cutoff line going into next week's race at Michigan. Halfway through stage 2 at the start-finish line. 12 laps in the second stage. Final stage will be 13 laps. They make it back to the line. This will be the first green flag lap completed, though, in this second stage. More blocking going on in the back half of the field. It's like Josh Williams, Ryan Sieg, John Nemechek went wide into the grass right around the kink. No damage. He didn't get into the wall. That's good. That would be an awkward angle to hit the wall hard in. Tight area of the racetrack. Maybe the tightest as far as on throttle goes. But all 4 tires off into the grass there. Definitely seemed to have stayed in the gas. Got himself out of it, but lost a few positions. And that's going to drop Nemechek outside the top 10 as he's sitting in about the 12th place spot. Kligerman looking to make another pass now. Getting underneath AJ Allmendinger for 5th. Sage Karam battling side by side for 3rd with Kaz Gralla as well towards turn 1. Mayer going to follow the 48 car on the inside as Allmendinger continues to fade. Was having electrical issues as you heard from Chris Rice in an interview during that last caution. And Kligerman did a smart job. He backed out of it. Wasn't going to push too hard to get by the 10 there. He realizes he's faster than him. And even on the short run this time around for AJ Allmendinger, he's losing time. A lot of that was due to turn 1 going a little bit too far wide. Definitely seemed to have carried more speed in going into the corner. You can tell just by how close he was to the front bumper of the 7 as far as side-by-side battling went, because the first couple of restarts he was in that predicament, he didn't go that far into the corner. Kligerman going to give the spot up to Sam Mayer. He's going to try to undercut and cross him over, but that's not going to happen. Nemechek going wide again towards turn 5. He is all over the place on this restart. He has gone wide 3 times, 2 times because of contact, and twice now in turn 5. Kept it on the racetrack, but definitely used every bit of that asphalt to the exit of the corner and whatever runoff area there was there, and it just did not go his way. Continues to lose positions, and now he is, I believe, outside the top 15 as he's behind Jeb Burton in the 15th place position exactly. 7/10 of a second lead for Allgaier at the front. Cole Custer in second, trying to run the 7 down.
So I think, DJ, you're right. There was something's happened to this car. It's nowhere near as good as it was.
You probably throw in maybe not as good and a driver that's maybe pressing a little bit harder now, or was until he lost these last 3 or 4 spots that he lost there.
Look at these 2 Toyotas, so fun. Sage Karam in the 24. He's from Pennsylvania. Grew up racing go-karts with Marco Andretti. Yes, that Andretti family. Made his way to IndyCar. Now finding his way into stock cars and other forms of racing. Kaz Gralla behind him from Massachusetts. He and his dad started out endurance racing together. And now Kaz is at the NASCAR Xfinity Series level. See stage 2 winding down, 5 to go here at Road America, and Justin Allgaier looking for another playoff point if he can win stage 2. Chance to position himself for the race win today. Let's hear more about Sam Mayer, Matt.
What an impressive little race Sam Mayer has put together here. Now, during the first stage, the car was just too tight. Marty Lindley felt like they maybe started the pressures too low, so it never got to exactly what Sam was looking for balance-wise. They fixed that for this stage, and so far he's been hovering right there in the middle of the top 10. But the biggest thing is that he lost a spot or two early on because he missed his marks. And drivers, they try to find different marks around the racetrack as far as braking points and getting back in the gas. But he got back into his rhythm, and both for Jeff and DJ, you guys in your library of experiences through all your careers, much easier to get back into rhythm, or is it much more difficult depending on if you're a rhythm racer? Were you guys rhythm racers?
Oh, I definitely was. I wasn't good at just qualifying. I was no Mark Martin by any means. Where you can just any track, anytime, just go fire off and go. I needed that to get in that rhythm, and sometimes it took a little bit of time, but it's I think most drivers like to be able to get in that.
My miserable qualifying record would confirm that I was definitely a rhythm driver.
The humble words of Jeff Burton.
Humble but true.
Can't deny it. Justin Allgaier's in the rhythm up front. He still leads in Wisconsin.
Alrighty. I was eating something. Give me a second. We're sitting at 4 laps to go in stage 2. Looks like the O2 car went off track. Down in turn 14. I think Blaine Perkins driving that car this weekend. Yep. So he's going to be last on the lead lap now. He might have been headed to pit road right as soon as he had that spin. Justin Allgaier has about a half a second lead still over Cole Custer. Sage Karam is in 3rd, Kaz Gralla 4th. AJ Allmendinger in 5th, Sam Mayer 6th, Parker Kligerman 7th, Josh Berry 8th, Connor Mosack 9th, and Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. So that is your running order at the front of the field as of right now. As we are 30 laps down, 15 laps to go. Again, still in stage 2. Final stage, only 13 laps. So we're going to be coming up on that very shortly. Wade Selinsky, thanks for tuning in. Austin Hill trying to get a lot of his spots back after losing quite a few of them due to the Riley Herbst incident. Wasn't actually caught up in the wreck, but he had to go through the grass to miss it. And the caution didn't come out right away, so he ended up losing some spots under green there. He's back up to 18th. We haven't really talked about the regular season championship battle much between Nemechek and Hill coming into the day. Stage 1 we kind of did because Nemechek was outrunning Hill, but we haven't talked about Justin Allgaier, who is only 55 points back coming into the day, and he's got a chance to sweep the stages here. If he can get the win, get a max points day, get 60 points. Both Hill and Nemechek are well outside the top 10 right now, and they're not going to get stage points here in this stage. If they finish outside the top 10 as well, we've seen Nemechek go wide a couple times in this run. Obviously, Hill, as mentioned, trying to get some spots back as well. And speaking of Nemechek, he's off track again. And pretty severe damage to the front of John Hunter Nemechek's car. Hill's going to go wide as well. Oh, no. Both of them are out wide. I think there's oil on the racetrack. There has to be oil on the track because there were about 3 cars that spun in the direct line that the 20 car of John Hunter Nemechek was running after he had a lot of damage to the front of his race car. The entire splitter is caked up underneath the front bumper. And this may run us into the stage end here for stage 2 as well. I couldn't tell who exactly all spun out. I saw Hill go into the grass. I think it might have been Riley Herbst who spun again. Further behind that, you can definitely see the oil coming out from underneath the 20 car. A lot of smoke as well. A lot of fluids coming out of that Mobil 1 Toyota, and the points leader, John Hunter Nemechek, having problems And I was just talking about the regular season battle for Justin Allgaier. This is going to open the door up even more for him. I mean, it is possible that he could be within a couple points of Nemechek, even coming in 55 below, because Nemechek isn't going to get stage points in stage 2. And I doubt they're going to be able to repair that car. His day's going to come to an end. He's got a lot of fluids coming out. And the reason for it, he went off track in turn 13. So he went off track a couple corners before that. Turn 13, he went off. And as soon as he clipped the curbing on the outside of the corner, he then just dug the front of his race car into the grass. You could see the fluids being laid down on the track behind him. That caused Austin Hill to go wide into the grass. It caused another car to spin out further back who was hurt. So a lot of playoff potential eligible drivers in the regular season championship fight having some problems with it. Can't believe how much that car dug into the grass. Not sure if they had rain in the area at all this weekend before that, but the way it dug in made it seem like it was very, very wet. A wild ride there for John Hunter Nemechek. And I just don't see how they're going to be able to continue in this race. And they are rolling his car back to the garage as we speak. So John Hunter Nemechek is going to be done. And this will also more than likely end stage 2. I don't want to give those stage 2 results out yet just to be sure. But a lot of playoff drama as far as the standings go, both for the regular season championship battle and the cutoff battle in this race specifically. Crazy. That was the 4th time he had gone wide during this green flag run, the second of which where he went all the way out in the grass, but this time the curbing hurt him a ton. It kind of launched the car up before nosediving back into the grass, which caused the splitter to drag into the dirt as much as it did.
In time to drop the green flag. It's a very long racetrack, and it takes forever to get around. They're just coming into turn 12 now, 14-turn course, so they'll be coming to the start-finish line, in about a minute, and that'll be 2 to go. So they'll have to clean it up within that lap to be able to drop the green flag with 1 to go. Don't know if they'll be able to make that or not.
More action on track right before the caution. Here's AJ racing with Sam Mayer. That's in turn 1. Same thing that happened on the restart.
Very similar to what happened on the restart. AJ's car just isn't there today, and it just doesn't have the speed. Now, they've lined him back up in front of the 1 car and in front of the 48 car, so what it tells me is that he had passed the scoring loop, and then the caution came out.
Yeah, it just seems that they do have some brake issues going on that they just can't attack the way that their drivers want to.
The damaged car of John Hunter Nemechek now in the garage area and done for the day because of this wild ride coming out of turn 13.
This is ready.
So headed to another commercial break. We are waiting to see if this will actually end stage 2 or not. Caution initially came out with 3 laps to go in the stage. It's all dependent on how long the cleanup is going to take to get the fluid off the racetrack at the speedy try laid down specifically on the outside of turn 14. The good news is it happened within the last corner or two before the entrance to pit road, so there isn't a lot of fluid on the racetrack. Enough, obviously, that they still have to clean it off, but it's different versus if it may have happened like around 6 or 7 and you had to go half the track and laying a bunch of oil and other fluids down in that area of the racetrack. So it's only about 1 corner that they're going to have to clean it up. And as you heard there from Jeff Burton and Dale Jarrett as they were elaborating that, it takes a couple minutes to get a caution lap in. They just hit the start-finish line for 2 to go right before they cut the commercial. So they're either going to be going green as soon as they come back from the break, or we're still going to be under caution and the stage is just going to end under the yellow. Stage 1 ended under caution as well when Catherine Legg, or rather, no, that was the Chandler Smith incident. And then the cop yellow earlier in the day that we were supposed to get got bled into from the Catherine leg stalling out in between turns 5 and 6, causing that caution. So all of our cautions have been for incident today, not because of the stage breaks or the comp yellow specifically, but because of the rules set up the way they are that we were expected to have cautions, so still not live pit stops are being taken place during these yellows. But very interesting so far to see how this is going to all end up playing out, as we're about to get into the final stage here shortly. So Nemechek is definitely going to be done for the day. 56 likes on the stream so far, around 100 people watching currently that are awaiting the resumption of this race following the John Hunter Nemechek caution. Tough break, though, for the points leader. Austin Hill's still on the racetrack, so there's a good chance he can end up back in the points lead again. And on top of that, Justin Allgaier, who is 55 points out of first, may very well win both stages in the race. If he stays out of trouble, wins this one, and he is looking at something special as far as trying to get back into the hunt for the regular season title. You can see the points on our screen. Again, he was 55 out, and really it's just between these three. Custer was in contention once he won at Chicago, but the last couple weeks have not gone Custer's way. He finds himself about 85 points out. Chandler Smith, who was 5th in points, is out of the race already. He was already almost 3 full races back. He will be now. Very good chance Barry's going to pass him in the points today, and maybe even Daniel Hemrick in the standings as well. So he'll lose playoff points because playoff points are awarded for the top 10, not just the regular season champ. So second will get 9 points, 8 points for third, all the way back to 1 point for finishing 10. But a pretty solid run going for Justin Allgaier, and a much needed one. Don't count him out of the regular season title up to this point. Surprising to see that issue, though, out of John Nemechek, or the issues we have seen with him in Stage 2 specifically. A lot of driver errors, and I say that because he's been so good on the road course this year. Now, he hasn't won on any road races this year, but he has had a lot of good finishes. Came back from a spin at Portland to still get a top 10 lead in that one. Lights are out on the pace car. They'll be going green this time by. We will have a one-lap green-white checker shootout for Stage 2.
Tore that car apart, and then others got involved from the fluid late on the track. And this has implications as we look at the points as they run. That cut line there, remember 12 drivers go to the playoffs. Looking very interesting.
Regular season championship. Last week, John Hunter Nemechek lost 20 points at Pocono. He came into that race 33 points ahead, left 13 points ahead, and now clearly out of the race at Austin Hill, still on racetrack. Could be another big loss for him.
Yeah, it could definitely lose the points, but probably will lose the points lead.
Here's the wreck again for Nemechek. And remember, Nemechek and Hill, they're both comfortably to the playoffs, but the regular season championship is worth a bunch. First to second is a difference of 5 playoff points, so it's very significant. So that driver is with Kevin Lee now.
He is. It was adventurous. It was going really well. What were the different issues? Was there a mechanical issue that led you to that final off?
I think I just made a mistake, I guess, and it kind of went straight, jumped the access road. Our guys brought a really fast Mobile 1 Toyota GR Super today. The long run was as fast as the Xfinity 10G, but just frustrating on restarts, getting used up. Who needs enemies when you have teammates?
Okay, thank you, John Hunter.
Well then, I'm looking on the board here. I'm not sure where he restarted. Connor Mosak is his teammate this weekend, as is Sammy Smith. We'll try to find that as the field chooses.
Yeah, it was Mosak who got into Nemechek on that restart. He went 3 wide into turn 5, so I remember seeing that when it happened, and that's what forced Nemechek wide the first time, which wasn't his fault, and then he overdrove it, trying to get some positions back after the fact, and just could never get back in a rhythm. And as you saw, Ended up making an issue there in turn 13, causing the most recent caution. So this did not end the stage. Again, one lap, green-white checker shootout for stage 2, and Justin Allgaier gets a great launch to the Geico restart zone. Downhill, entering turn 1. He's already got the 0-0 of Custer clear, and Custer's under duress now for second place from Sage Karam in the 24. AJ Allmendinger on the outside behind the 0-0 still. Custer gets a good drive off of turn 1. He's going to be able to clear, pull down to the inside, block the 24 car, entering turn 2. Allgaier about 2 to 3 car lengths ahead of Custer off the exit of that second corner. And still side by side for fourth now. It's well between AJ Allmendinger and Kaz Gralla. Josh Berry trying to get into the top 10 for the first time today as he's battling for position. A hornet's nest back there with a bunch of drivers battling in the back half of the top 10, just outside the top 10 as well. Gralla stuck on the outside of Allmendinger as AJ did a very good job on the outside lane through 1 and 2. Into 5, had the advantage on the bottom, clears the 26. Gralla slides the rear tires quite a bit, and Sam Mayer's going to get by the 26 car as well for position into turn 6. So Gralla going to lose about 3 positions here these first probably 7 or 8 turns following the restart. And he's going to be getting a quick caution coming back up, so could be in danger of losing more spots, maybe get some of those back quickly on the next restart. Parker Kligerman putting the bumper to Sammy Smith. Trying to get another point here late in the stage with Herbst having issues. Multiple spins for Riley. Quite a bit of damage. He's currently back in 30th. Parker is in 6th. Or was in 6th on the restart. He's now back to 9th. So he lost 3 positions here on this one-lap shootout for stage 2. And he's having troubles trying to get back by the 18 car of Sammy Smith. 4/10 of a second lead for Allgaier. Custer really not close enough to try to make a dive or any sort of an attempt to keep up with Justin through the final 2 to 3 corners. Sammy Smith did not make it through the kink very well, and that allowed for Parker Kligerman to get a great run into 11. Smith nearly goes off the track at the same spot Nemechek did in turn 13. He's going to lose another spot. Almost to Hemrick. Hemrick goes wide. I think there might be still some oil up there because he slid very, very wide after running in that outside lane where Nemechek spread a bunch of the fluid. Hemrick falls well outside the top 10 as they race back to the start-finish line. Still losing positions. That is a tough break for Daniel Hemrick. I mean, he probably lost at least a dozen, if not more, positions. Looked like he was 11th when the stage came to an end. Or sorry, 21st rather, and he was right up there with Sammy Smith in 9th or 10th, so he loses about 10 or 11 spots in the final corner. Tough break for Hemrick. It was also on the bubble coming into the playoffs, at least as far as to the good. He was over a full race worth of points ahead, but still no wins, obviously, for Hemrick this season. And now we're at the 11 to go mark in the race. Justin Allgaier wins his 2nd stage of the day and his 7th of the season as far as stage wins go. He's got the most stage wins of any driver in the Xfinity Series this season with 7. Next closest is Cole Custer with 5. John Hunter Nemechek has 4, Austin Hill with 3, as well as Josh Berry having 3 stage wins on the season. Allgaier trying to go for a 2nd race win, though. He's been the dominant driver, dominant car so far. Can Cole Custer or anybody else beat him once we get into the final stage? 80 votes have been cast for who you think will win today's race. Allgaier leading that poll right now, rightfully so. Very close still between him and Allmendinger. 38% of you think that it'll be Justin winning the race, and then the 35% for AJ. Cole Custer at 12% of the votes, and then other 15% of the votes so far. Just over 100 people right now watching the stream as far as concurrent viewers go. 57 likes. Again, about to get into the final stage. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream, so be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Flag-to-flag coverage of today's Road America 180 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series will continue after this short break. Pit stops on the other side. And it will be the final pit stops of the day when they take place. I guess Connor Mosack fell all the way back to 30th somewhere on that restart as well. He was in the top 10. Not the case anymore. Tough day for JGR. Sammy Smith still out there in 9th place. He started around 15th. I think he started just outside the top 15, if my memory serves me correct. Both the Sam Hunt Racing cars, though, carrying the banner for Toyota today. Gralla 6th, Karam 3rd. Who would have thought they'd be outrunning JGR as a whole? Road courses give them the advantage to be able to do that, and they've done a great job in their respected race cars. And there's an outside chance Sage Karam could compete for the win here. He doesn't have the speed that the 7 has. Really, nobody has had the speed that Allgaier's had today, but they have one last chance to try to make adjustments. They can get the track position on a late restart and somehow beat the 7 car. That could give them an opportunity as well. But Justin Allgaier has been perfect on restarts today. He's been perfect from behind the wheel. He hasn't really made a mistake. Seen some drivers go maybe a little bit wide and others able to capitalize, make passes for position, but nobody's been able to pass the 7 all day. He was going back and forth with Custer in the early laps, but that was when they were in 2nd and 3rd battling behind AJ. Once the 7 got out into the clean air, taking the lead the first time, he has not looked backwards. Currently, Allgaier has led 29 of the 34 completed laps. First 5 were led by AJ before he lost the lead. So sitting at just those 2 lead changes so far in today's race. Really 1 lead change, 2 different leaders, because AJ started on the pole. Our average race speed is 72.28 miles per hour to this point. And in total, this would be our 4th caution of the race. So again, 4th caution in today's race right now. And by the time we get back to green flag racing, we're probably going to have about 9 or 10 laps to go. Matt Hunter, thanks for tuning in. We'll have some pit stops on the other side. For right now, we'll take a quick break, and you'll get to listen in. Cars are on pit road right now. Again, no live pit stops here, so Allgaier will remain the leader on the restart. All the positions you see on our leaderboard right now will be the same. Ten laps to go, final stops. The only other question is now, will this be the final restart coming up?
This weekend it's all in the details. The small things really turn into huge momentum getters on the racetrack, and that's exactly what he did on the track walk. He walked around this new pavement, the landscape, looked at how they put the pavement up to the curbing, and he also told me he felt like that has made it much more crucial to hit your marks, because the curbing, which is much more like a bumper or a cushion, it's not like it used to be. It's very level with the pavement, so it's almost like an extra portion of area that you can use for grip and to try to run off the racetrack. But the car tighter, Kevin, on this run, but he's still very pleased with the overall balance of the 7.
Well, Cole Custer in the 00 Haas Automation Ford is still in play for his 3rd straight road course win. Pitting again from 2nd. He still wants to find a little bit more through the carousel. Says that's where he's losing, so they're going to go back on the changes they made at the last stop and see if they can help him a little bit better with drive off through there. He has talked about how treacherous this is, and he's really been concerned about when you get offline, can you be able to make it stick? But that's what it's going to take to be able to get around Justin Allgaier, Matt.
And Kevin, Allgaier's day has just taken a turn for the worse. It seems like every stage, every situation that they've tried to work on, and the officials are giving all the teams the 2-minute warning, that everything that they've tried to fix on this race car, it's actually gone the opposite way and made it worse. The tires, they're taking off those Goodyears on the right side. You can see that Allmendinger has donuts going down the quarter panel. Also, they have worn off the Goodyear on the right front of that 10 machine. You can see a crew member back inside. Electrical issues continue for this 10 car. They're not shutting it off. Too concerned, Kevin, that it won't refire. But add in one more issue, more brake fade for Allmendinger. You can just hear the disappointment in his voice.
2 stages done, and the good day continues for the Sam Hunt Racing Toyota. Sage Karam in 3rd. Kaz Grala lost a couple of spots on that restart in 6th. I heard Kaz say before the last restart, I don't think we're quite good enough to have anything for Allgaier and Custer, but we are pretty good and we can stay up here. As you might expect, the cars are good. No changes for either 3rd and 6th. 3rd, by the way, is the best ever finish for Sam Hunt Racing. Sage Karam's best ever finish in Xfinity is 5th. Matt.
And still working on that Jenna Allmendinger car. They're beginning to pull off pit road. More brake fluid for Allmendinger. And it's not just the 10 car we mentioned earlier. Chandler Smith, his teammate, he had brake failure in the fastest section of this racetrack. Still trying to tweak the 10 here to get him back out. But boy, everybody earmarked the 10 as the car to beat. He was going to be the class of the field, and it's been anything but that today. They certainly have struggled, Dave.
And now buttoning up things for Allmendinger so he can rejoin in proper time. All kinds of issues today. Can he overcome them? He was one of the odds-on favorites.
Yeah, not only one of the odds-on favorites, but my personal pick to win today's race as well, and it just hasn't had the speed that AJ Allmendinger, or that Justin Allgaier, I should say, has shown in today's race. And really, it seems like the speed has been fading. As you heard from Matt Yoakum, that 10 team has lost more ground over the course of the race, largely in part to the changes they made to the race car, only making it worse handling-wise for AJ Allmendinger, having a bit of brake fade as well, adding a bit more fluid, trying to make sure his brakes hold up, as we are going to have about 9 laps to go on the restart in this one. Xfinity Cup should be running WGI. So weekend Richmond should only have 1 date in spring. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of tracks. I'm a believer that every track should have 1 date. Personally, the only way that I'd be okay with a track having more than 1 date is if it has more than one configuration, because then it's technically 2 different tracks, same facility, but it's not the same tracks. Like the Coke 600 Charlotte Oval versus the Roval is just completely different. So it's 2 different tracks. Indianapolis, they can maybe do a double with the Brickyard 400, and Indy Road Course, I'd be okay with it. Even, Daytona, if they wanted to bring the Daytona Road Course back. But there's certain tracks that they'll never go away from 2 dates. I think the super speedways, Talladega, Daytona, for a fact, those 2 are going to have 2 dates until like the end of time, unless something terrible, happens on a consistent basis. That there's no way that those 2 tracks, I mean, they bring in probably the most revenue, both from eyeballs watching the sport whenever they're at those 2 tracks, and just overall attendance as well. So yeah, I don't see those tracks losing a date. But really, I mean, any other track I think is up on the table for potentially only having 1 date, and I think it should be that way. Even Atlanta, to a certain extent, only having 1 date, I think would be, I know they made into like a mini super speedway, so it'll be, interesting going forward. Maybe they would just keep 2 dates there as well for that reason. But I would think that the super speedways are probably the only tracks that they would, without a doubt, keep at least 2 dates a year at Daytona, Talladega. Just a reminder, at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, the NASCAR Cup Series is out east in Richmond. We'll have live commentary coverage for that one. Again, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow with our pre-race coverage for that live stream. Also, Truck Series race later on tonight still will take place at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. That will be the regular season finale. We'll have a pretty tight points battle going in. Matt Crafton only 9 points ahead of Stuart Friesen. Matt DiBenedetto on the cutoff line as well, plus 31. And Nick Sanchez, plus 21 points going into the day. So a lot of interesting bubble battles to watch there. And also, of course, the regular season championship battle between Corey Heim and Zane Smith. So again, regular season finale at Richmond tonight for the Truck Series. And we will go live at 7:30, roughly just over 2 hours from now until the start of that race. So we got a road course here for today's race and a short track oval for tonight and tomorrow's truck and cup races. They will be going green this time. Again, we'll have 9 laps to go. Justin Allgaier has been perfect on the restarts. He's been perfect behind the wheel on the racetrack. During long green flag runs, he hasn't done anything to have any sort of issues with his tires over the course of the run. I mean, they might not have even made any adjustments to that 7 car. And I don't think that you would want to touch it at this point. I mean, he is definitely the guy to beat. How aggressive will somebody be behind him to potentially get around him on a restart? Because after about 2 to 3 laps, Cole Custer's even having a hard time trying to keep up with Allgaier at this point. And we're running down into the late going. Allgaier has swept the stages already today, now trying to get the win for a max points day. Chandler Nemechek had 7 stage points earlier, so that points gap between Allgaier and Nemechek coming into this final stage specifically would be 42 points. But with Nemechek out of the race, if Allgaier wins to get an additional 40 to Nemechek's 3, we could be talking nearly single digits is all the further back Allgaier will be. Can he complete the sweep of the day at Road America, winning all 3 stages? We'll have to wait and find out. We are 9 laps away from the finish. Green flag back in the air. Another great launch by Allgaier through the restart zone. He's easily going to clear Custer nearly by about the start-finish line. Now he has to block the 24 car of Sage Karam all the way down the front stretch, who's trying to make a move to the inside, but just isn't in the right position to be able to do so. Cole Custer going to stay wide on the outside. Goes a little bit too far wide. Might have had contact from behind from A.J. Allmendinger, who is going to sweep down. No, Allmendinger could not get to the bottom lane. Sam Mayer filled that gap before AJ could get down, and Sam Mayer will move in to 3rd place. Sage Karam in 2nd, trying to run down the 7 car of Justin Allgaier. Great day for Karam, looking for his career best finish, which is 5th so far in the Xfinity Series, but trying to go for a runner-up spot here late. And Cole Custer losing a couple spots. Mentioned to Karam and Mayer. He is in 4th after restarting on the outside of the front row. Still door-to-door is the 10 and the 26 as they make a bit of contact at turn 5. Allmendinger on the inside of that battle. He finally clears Gralla. Sammy Smith to the inside of the 26, also trying to follow in suit. Josh Berry gets cut off by the 26 as he was just not willing to lose any more positions at that point. A lot of drivers not wanting to go out of the actual racing line with this freshly paved racetrack. They don't feel there's a lot of grip there. And that has caused a huge fight for the bottom, and which is why we have seen a lot of contact in the battles for position in the middle of the pack throughout the course of the race today. Passing is going to be even more limited on a road course today than what we would usually see for that reason, making the restarts even more vital. We've seen quite a few of them in the second half of this race. Quickly, a 9/10 of a second lead for Justin Allgaier over Sage Karam. Sam Mayer is 1.2 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Cole Custer is 1.7 seconds off the lead in 4th. And A.J. Allmendinger is 2.6 seconds off the lead in 5th. So that is your top 5 following the restart. Again, 9 laps to go. Coming up on 8 to go this time by. Sam Mayer looking to the inside of Sage Karam through turn 14. He's going to get there. Door-to-door for 2nd. Mayer, of course, this is his home track as well. Going to get a huge bump draft from Cole Custer now in this main straightaway, and that's going to help Mayer easily clear the 24 car before getting down into turn 1. Custer not going to be able to clear the 24. He'll be door-to-door going into that first turn. Karam going to have to sit behind the 00, though. Custer is able to outbrake him and clear him for 3rd. So Sam Mayer, trying to get his first win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He is a teammate of Justin Allgaier at Junior Motorsports, so if anybody's got a car that could catch Allgaier, maybe it is a car that comes from the same shop, and we'll see if the second-year driver can get the job done and run down the series veteran. He's got to put a gap on Custer first. Custer deep into turn 5, a lot deeper than the 1. Mayer had to give the 00 a little bit of room on the inside, and he did. There was no contact there. Custer again to the inside of the 6 of Mayer. Custer's been so good in turn 6 today, but he couldn't make the pass there. And he's going to lose ground going into the horseshoe in turn 7. The more they battle, the more Allgaier is going to continue to pull away as we're going to be coming up on 7.5 laps to go.
aggressive race car driver, but he's been very smart. He could have easily gotten into the back of the 00 right there and turned him around. He didn't do it. Racing with a ton of respect.
Kevin Caron's having a great day.
And that's one of the things that he told me he thought could be an advantage is his racecraft. He said, I'm not sure my single pace lap is right there yet, but I've got a lot of experience, and I think we might be able to take advantage of that in road courses a little later in. He is in a position maybe to be able to win a race for the first time in a single-seater since his Indy Lights Championship year in 2013. He's from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. By the way, what other racing name is from Nazareth? It's the Andretti name, and his dad, Jody, was Michael's trainer. That's kind of how they got into the sport. He started going along to the go-kart track with Marco. So that relationship goes way back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Matt.
Kevin, Josh Berry certainly put in extra effort, trying to check all the boxes, knowing moving to Cup Series next year, you can't give up anything in any different area. He didn't grow up a road racer, didn't grow up racing karts. He's had to work in that area with all the extra effort and tools at his disposal. Yes, he was third here a year ago, but he will quick to tell you that effort is really starting to slowly pay off. But the biggest change for today, they made a significant air pressure and chassis adjustment back at the beginning of stage.
Car hard into the wall right around turns 1 or 2. Window net is down. It is the 08 of Alex LeBay. And a heavy impact. And I believe it is turn 1. And it looks like it may be another brake failure because you could see his tire tracks going through the grassy infield wall. He is out of the race car. He is sitting. He's now laying down. Heavy impact for Alex LeBay. Second brake failure going into turn 1 today, if I had to guess. And he is limping away from the race car right now. AMR safety team is there. Looks like the right rear tire of Sheldon Creed's race car has gone flat. And he's going to have to come back onto pit road as well. That car's almost down to the rim. And he's struggling to maintain caution speed.
Toward turn 1, the last car in frame now. Boy, that looks similar to what happened to Smith.
Yeah, clearly a mechanical issue. And that's that wall we talked about that Chandler Smith was trying to avoid. Alex LeBay just a head-on impact. Clearly a mechanical issue, but his car what was different from he and Chandler Smith. Chandler's car, when he had the problem, it continued straight until he turned it. In this case, it looks like whatever happened, and then the car took a right, quickly turned to the right.
Another angle, LeBay will come into frame here. Oh my gosh. There are tire packs that slow that impact a little bit, but the concrete is right there, and you can see the fencing above it. They've had cars go out of the park here over the years. This track has been here since 1955, largely unchanged in its configuration. Safety is always a concern.
You see the tire mark. So remember, Chandler's car, there was no tire marks, there was nothing. But this car, when whatever happened, it hangs a right. And it goes straight into that inside wall and then careens off of that into the turn 1 wall. So problems in the same place, but a completely different result based on whatever happened to the car and it just turning right.
And Chandler questioned whether he had done the right thing. I mean, when he sees this, he's probably going to think heading off to the left and scraping off to the left side of that car was the right move.
Yeah, if he needed anything else besides the fact that he was standing there giving that interview and being perfectly fine, this certainly validates exactly what he did was the right thing.
So it's a tough day for SS Greenlight Racing. Catherine Legg out with a mechanical issue, and now this for her teammate Alex LeBay. So under caution for the 6th time today. 3 of those were for breaks from NASCAR, a competition caution, and a couple of stage breaks. Justin Allgaier has won both stages. Matt, what's their team thinking about?
And that 7 car certainly has been stellar today. And Jim Pullman, looking at the way this day has gone, almost like you've written the script for it. If you had a concern here for the run to the finish, what would it be?
Well, obviously brake rotors, right? I think everybody's having issues here. Our Brembo stuff's been really good all day, so hopefully it hangs on to the end. Man, this car's been really strong. The brand Chevrolet's been really good. Really proud of Justin, really proud of all these guys.
You know, they say if you grow up in Chicago, you've got to be a Bulls fan or a Cubs or a White Sox fan or Blackhawks. For you, you were always a racing fan, bitten by the bug early. You narrowly missed scoring a win at your home track. You told me this is sort of like your home track. What would a win be for you at Road America?
Yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot. I mean, not far from home. Lots of family, lots of friends here. Got all the brand people here on the box with us, so cheering us on, that's a lot of fun. But yeah, if we can't win at Chicago, I'll take Elkhart Lake.
Certainly a trophy is a trophy, but it means a whole lot more if it's near your home where you grew up.
Matt, it would be big for Pullman, his driver, Justin Allgaier, trying to become the first repeat winner in the Xfinity Series here.
So here we go. We're about 6 laps away from victory for Justin Allgaier. We are under caution again, though, right now. Our 5th yellow of the race. Another brake failure. This time it was the 08 car of Alex LeBay. He careened the wall very, very hard. Looked like he might have hit with the right side of his car on the inside wall of turn 1 before actually getting into the pavement portion of the corner. Cut through the grass into the sand and then hit head on into the tire barrier wall at the exit of turn 1, and a very hard head-on impact at that, lifting the car up off the ground completely. He did get out under his own power. He laid down on the ground for a couple seconds and then got back up and limped away. So hopefully Alex LeBay is going to be okay. We do know Chandler Smith was all right from earlier, was checked and released from the infield care center. No problems there, but hopefully we can say the same for Alex LeBay, who may be a little bit more dinged up following his incident. Of course, a much harder impact, was not able to suffer a lighter blow compared to what Chandler Smith was able to do earlier in the race. We did not get to this during the Stage 2 break, but we'll get to it right now while we're under caution late in this race, and that is going to be the diecast showing that I usually have for the end of Stage 2. And this week I've got a guy who won quite a bit on road courses in his NASCAR time, especially with Roush Fenway Racing, and that would be Mark Martin. This is a 2000 Valvoline Ford. I love this Valvoline paint scheme. Valvoline schemes over the years always great, whether it was Mark Martin, even Scott Riggs, and even to this day, I really do like Kyle Larson's car too. Maybe not as good as the Mark Martin Valvoline cars, which were the best. This probably isn't my favorite Valvoline scheme of all time, but it's up there. I'd probably put it like number 2. I like the number font on this number 6 as well. Probably my favorite number font that Roush used. They used a similar number font with the 16, I know, on Biffle's rookie car specifically, with the Granger car, and then also at times with the Ted Musgrave 16 car back in the 90s as well. But yeah, I do like this number font on the 6. Nice scheme. It is a nice scheme. I'd probably say mid-90s Martin, like 95 to 98. I really like that Valvoline Ford, maybe a little bit better. I do like the blue rims on this car too. It's a good-looking car nonetheless. The white cars, when looking clean, look pristine, and white obviously with other colors on it, not just plain white all the way around. Then it looks bare. It doesn't look like you have any sponsorship help, but no, very good-looking car there. So that is going to be our diecast showing for this first race. We'll have another one during the Stage 2 break tonight, and of course tomorrow with the Cup Series race as well. Again, be sure to hit the like button. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. We're at 6 laps to go in the race. We have over 100 people watching right now, so definitely hit the like button. Run that like counter up, and hopefully we can get there by the end of this one, and then do it again all over tonight. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time will be our start time for the Truck Series race at Richmond. We're about 2 hours from the drop of the green flag there. Cup race tomorrow will begin at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time as well. Pre-race, both races at Richmond.
The speed down into the car to keep from hitting head on to the wall we just saw.
And John Hunter Nemechek gets off the track. Had no idea, but we've been seeing this, that once you get off, you can get a lot of damage. Just destroys his car. He's out, probably losing his points lead here today.
Had the most He goes to the right and then straight into the barrier.
It's a huge hit for Alex Abay. You see him winning down immediately down. And know the safety workers that wasn't in dire need of help.
So 6 laps to go, just over 24 miles or so. And this is the playoff standing list grid as it stands right now. Most affected, perhaps, right around the cut line. Creed in the 2, Herbst in the 98, and Kligerman in the 48.
Yeah, it seems like every time we show the 2 car today, he's in some kind of trouble. He's had a lot of damage to his car. He's on pit road now trying to get it fixed. Riley Herbst, Parker Kligerman, they just have this incredible battle. Parker's done a nice job of getting himself in position, but don't count out Riley Herbst. He's come from the back now twice, and he's up to 16th. And he's got a fast car, and he can still move forward some.
And DJ, you pointed this out before, those playoff points on the upper right there, none for Nemechek today. Hill has a chance if he can win the race, and he's gaining.
Yeah, he sure is. And you look at Justin Allgaier, too. He's, you talk about the playoff points. He's got 2 stage wins. He could get, if he can keep battling here and get that win, he's going to add 5 more to that total. So could be a huge day for him. Cole Custer's done a nice job here, and he's going to have something to say about this on this restart, too.
Again, 7 races to go until the playoffs start for the Xfinity Series. It's a little bit different than it is for the NASCAR Cup Series. Playoffs for these drivers and teams will start just a little bit later. That, of course, will all begin at Bristol on a Friday night.
We're coming, this race is winding down, and we've seen some big instant impacts, some big wrecks. Sam Mayer, the driver looking for that win in the Xfinity Series, trying to establish himself. Last week, he kind of questioned himself. Did he make the right move? Did he mess a teammate up? I didn't think he made the wrong move at all. I thought he made the move to give himself a chance to win a race. And so now here he is with a chance to win, and his teammate is sitting there. And I know that Sam Mayer wants to be respectful. I know that that's how he wants to do. I know that Junior's been talking to him about being respectful to teammates and how to finish races. But here you are. They're going to drop the green with 4 to go. And you have got to go be aggressive if you're going to win the race. So it's a tough situation, DJ, for a young driver or an experienced driver. How hard do you push, and what are you willing to do with a teammate alongside you?
And is there extra incentive since he grew up 7 miles from here?
Would be for me.
I would think so. Yeah, you throw all of that in there. I mean, just getting the first win of your career is big enough. But doing it right here and in this moment, there's a lot of things going through a young man's head right now as to what is the right thing to do.
And he's won races here. He's won them in Trans Am Series. He had a big wreck here a few years ago, overcame it, came back the next year, won the race. This is a place that he knows how to win. And it's a huge deal to win in one of these national touring series like the Xfinity Series. It's a big deal. Sam Mayer is going to have to push the buttons here to make something happen.
And Sam Mayer will be getting a lot of pressure from the 3rd place car of Cole Custer, Kevin.
Yeah, looking for 3 in a row on the road course. Jonathan Toney is the crew chief, so does he have something to pick up a spot, maybe 2?
Oh, absolutely. These are the moments you live for. It's why we work on these things and get them ready to come to the racetrack is to put our man in a position. So, I'd bet on him. I wouldn't bet against him for sure. So, I think, see what happens. Hope we can get clear of them and get out here and get us a win.
Cole's been pretty honest about how difficult it is when you get out of the groove. And what's he been saying during the race today? Is he feeling a little more comfortable in the passing zones?
I think it's gotten a little bit better as the races went on, as things got rubbered up and seasoned in, But, you still don't want to be on the outside in the turn 1. That's not the preferred place to be. So we'll see how it shakes out. And, like I say, hopefully we can get us a win.
All right, well, I'll watch together. Thanks, Jonathan.
Kevin, let's look at some highlights for Cole Custer. 2 of the last 3 road courses.
Not sure if they're going to go green or not this time by because they have not given them the 1 to go signal yet. We do have one more break to get out in this race today, so we're going to make sure we do it now while we're under caution. Before we get back to Green Flag Racing again, you're listening live at KRC YouTube channel. We're about 34 likes away from our goal today, so let's get up to 100 likes on the stream before the end. And again, subscribe as well if you haven't already. Hopefully we go green this time by. If not, it looks like we will be going green this time by. So 4 to go in the restart upcoming here shortly in the Road America 180 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Won that poll as well for who you think will win today's race. 102 votes were casted. 40% of you say I keep saying AJ Allmendinger. Justin Allgaier, 40% of the votes. He's leading the race. He's your guys' vote to win. AJ Allmendinger, who's my pick to win the race for the race, started 31%. Other at 16%, and Cole Custer with 11% of the votes. Sam Mayer going to be in second for the race start. Prime position to try to get his first career Xfinity win at his home track, home state nonetheless. This could be big for Sam Mayer if he can get it done. But he has to beat his teammate. And it is worth noting that Junior Motorsports have costed themselves chances to win multiple times this season alone because two of their cars get into one another late in a race. So at the end of the day, the job is going to be to get one of these two cars to victory lane. Allgaier has been the dominant car of the day. But I mentioned right before that caution, if anybody has anything for him, it may be a teammate of Sam Mayer. He couldn't really shake off Cole Custer. They went back and forth for a little bit and allowed for Allgaier to get away. But this late caution from Alex Labbe is going to give Mayer another shot at it. And we're going to have 4 laps to go again on the restart. Upcoming. That's 16 miles around this 4-mile road course. Mayer will take the inside of row 2. So Custer will be on the outside of row 1 again. Mayer not going to take the outside of his teammate here. He's going to stay behind him as they are about to enter the Geico restart zone. Double wide. Allgaier, Custer. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Very slow restart for Allgaier. He's been waiting to the end of that restart zone to really take off today. He waits late again, gets a good launch. He's going to clear Cole Custer to the outside. It's going to allow him to arc his corner off down towards turn 1 quite a bit. Sam Mayer still can't break free of the 0-0 of Cole Custer through turn 1 so far. Custer going a bit wide up across the rumble strips on the outside. Mayer clear for second. Sage Karam to the inside now for third place into turn 2 underneath of Custer. AJ Allmendinger, Sammy Smith door-to-door for fifth behind him. Custer clear for third. Karam drops in line to try to get that draft behind him. And now Sam Mayer, 3 car lengths behind his teammate Justin Allgaier. Can he run him down? Probably going to be pushing harder now more than ever. A couple cars get together. Allmendinger's around hard into Cole Custer. And Sammy Smith involved as well. Caution is out. There was a big slide. There was contact that turned, I believe it turned AJ into Sammy Smith. And then they went sliding in the grass all the way down towards turn 5 on the inside before clipping the 0-0 and taking Cole Custer with them. Right rear tire is about to come off of Custer's car. Heavy suspension damage there. Not sure how that started. It looked like either the 10 or the 18 got turned. I'm not sure which one it was, but somebody got into the back of one of those 2 cars, which turned them sideways into each other. And then they were sliding in the grass for an eternity before they ended up making it into turn 5 while cars were already in the corner at normal race speed. These guys were coming in much faster, obviously not having controls of their car. It looked like Josh Berry clipped the grass and then ended up turning the 18 into the 10. And the 10 of Allmendinger hit the concrete wall down towards turn 5 on the inside of the corner, which kind of pushed him back out into Cole Custer. But Berry definitely clipped the grass. I'm not sure if he maybe got hit from Kaz Gralla from behind or not. Not entirely sure. Great job by Sage Karam missing that. He was hard on the brakes just to make the corner, let alone to miss all the carnage in front of him. He barely missed Cole Custer's race car when Custer got cleaned out. So Berry got loose. I don't know if Berry got hit from behind or if he clipped the grass. The most recent angle they just showed, it almost looked like Kaz Gralla might have made contact with the back of Josh Berry, which caused him to get sideways and hook the 18. The 8 car was definitely sideways. I don't know if it's because he got hit from Gralla or he clipped the grass, which would have technically been turn 4 in that long on-throttle portion of the racetrack. So we're going to have another caution. Cole Custer's still trying to lip his way to pit road. He's just now getting into turn 11. I mean, the entire right rear looks like the rim's dragging. And it's sticking out quite a bit, too. I mean, even if he gets that car back to pit road, there is no way he's going to be able to continue. Quite a bit of damage on the 8 car from Barry. Some of that from earlier, already having bare bond on the front bumper of the race car. Josh Bilicki now inside the top 10. Great day also at his home track. Currently in 8th, qualified well as well. I think he started 11th. Jordan Anderson Racing's Jeb Burton is in the top 10, having a great season so far for that small team. Jeremy Clements, 51 car, also in the top 10. He's been a pretty good road racer in the Xfinity Series. Has a win at Mid-Ohio in his career. It's a kid that was, he had a tire from somewhere. I'm not sure whose tire that is, but he's got a burnt tire. By burnt, I mean like burnt off the race car. It's flat. It was flat. Not sure if it came from Custer or if it came from maybe the most recent incident that we just saw with before this caution, of course. The 08 car. So we are under caution again. And I'm not sure if this is going to force overtime or not. We're at 3 to go right now. I mean, either way, we're only going to have 2 laps to go in the restart, whether it's overtime or not. Same rules would apply. That if the race leader gets to the white flag, the next flag ends the race. Whether it's the yellow or the checker. And we'll see if Allgaier can get beat the next time. Man, Sammy Smith and AJ Allmendinger were definitely innocent bystanders on that one. Cole Custer may be the most innocent bystander of all of them. He probably had no clue that was going on behind him. I mean, they were so close to taking the 24 of Karam with him. I'm surprised he wasn't caught up in it. Great wherewithal to get on the brakes when he did. Barely missed the incident. A little bit of luck involved with it, of course, as well. And he remains in 3rd with his teammate Kaz Gralla. Currently scored in 4th, although on the leaderboard it looks like Josh Berry might be in 4th. Which, if that is the case, that's actually pretty impressive. That there are 3 Junior Motorsport Chevrolets inside the top 5. Yeah, I don't know. That was strange. Car definitely veered right. I don't think he clipped the grass. I initially saw the replay. I thought he might have because of how drastically Barry's car did turn to the right, but he might have gotten touched from behind from Gralla at the same time. Racing is full of surprises, ain't that the truth? Sid for Brains, thanks for tuning in. Gralla bumped Barry. Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like. Middle of the straightaway, you wouldn't think the A car would just take off like that. It's kind of what I was being led to believe as well. Alright, well, yeah, we're under caution. A lot of cleanup being had right now. I don't think they're going to be going green this time, so it looks like we're going to be headed to overtime. And it will be a 2-lap green-white checker shootout to decide this Xfinity Series race. Mayer couldn't quite break clear of Cole Custer the last couple restarts, but now he doesn't have to deal with Custer anymore, and maybe this will allow him to have an even better shot at trying to run down Justin Allgaier.
About Sam's prolific run behind the wheel. Very also very old soul-like.
Yeah, we had a little bit of issue in stage one, had some brake issues, and for him to stay in the game and be able to battle back and get us up in the top 5 with a chance to win this race at the end, our teammates have been lights out all day. I just appreciate everybody at Chevrolet, Accelerate. This is a home team for Sam, home race, and hopefully we can come home with a 1-2 junior motorsports finish.
You talk about the emotions behind the wheel, and you're battling your teammate for the W here. You've been in that position before. Coming into this race, did you guys talk about the past experiences and how you try to compartmentalize who you're racing when it's at the finish?
Yeah, it's been a tough situation for junior motorsports over the years. I feel like there's been some issues there. There's been a lot of emphasis put on, finishing these races out and getting the finishes we deserve, and hopefully they put on a good show for the fans, and that's what they do.
All right, good luck here with the run to the finish, Dave. It's going to get exciting.
Matt, thanks. Here is Jeff. You want to make a comment?
Yeah, I do. I'm a huge fan of Marty Lindley. Marty, I mentioned, if for those of you who don't know, check out, do a little research on his dad, Butch Lindley. Yeah. Butch Lindley is a legend and an unbelievable racer, and Marty is the same way. My son Harrison worked with Marty. I got a chance to really get an up-close look at him. He is a hardcore racer and very smart. He's a new hire into junior motorsports as a crew chief. He's been in trucks, he's been in K&N, and he's won in everything he's done. He is an extremely talented crew chief as well as he was a driver.
Let me give you another father-son connection. Sam Mayer's dad, Scott, is actually a racer too, and he won here at Road America in the Grand Am Series. Here's Scott. Little BMW power behind the 8 car. And so, as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. When Sam was young, there is Scott with his co-driver Brendan Hartley, who, by the way, is a bad man behind the wheel. They built a go-kart track in their backyard, and this is where Sam began racing before he ever got to this level in the Xfinity Series. Practice in the backyard, take it to the track. We've been watching Parker Kligerman most of the day. Kevin, he's in the best spot he's been all day.
So when I talked to Parker before the race today, he kind of laid down to me what he thought was going to happen, and it's almost sounding like maybe he's been an analyst or reporter before, because he's kind of predicted how things are going to happen. He said there's going to be carnage. We're going to be able to move our way forward. We think we're better as a race car than we were a qualifying car. Pick up a few each stage, get inside the top 8, maybe the top 5 by the end of the race. Maybe we can steal one. He's thinking he doesn't have to win. It'd be great if they do, but they think they can point their way into the playoffs. Riley Herbst has still got the advantage. Parker Kligerman might be able to close that gap a little bit more before we're done today.
We see that bubble point look on the left there. Kligerman just out by 20. Herbst in by 20. Parker runs in 5th. Riley Herbst runs in 13th.
Yeah, that was all the way down at one point in time after Riley got spun in the second time, that it was down to 2 points. So as Jeff has pointed out, Riley Herbst's done a great job battling back from the 2 spins. And there's no reason, you said call this overtime. There's no reason to think that we're going to have one overtime right here.
That's right. They get multiple attempts at it. That means it's a 2-lap shootout. They'll take the green, they'll take the white, and the next flag after that would end the race. But if the caution should come out before they get the white, Jeff, they'll try it again.
Oh, yeah. The other driver that's had a good comeback is the 9 of Brandon Jones right there, that bright yellow car. He had trouble in first lap of practice yesterday. Had to go to a backup car, started in the back, no laps on this car whatsoever, and he's battled back, and here he is sitting running in 12th, and he's only 58 points back. Now that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but if these 2 cars have trouble that he's racing, the 98 and the 48, he could be right back in this battle as well.
Yeah, and they have multiple road courses plus Daytona before their playoffs start, so a lot of positions that could be changed.
So how about this, guys? How about this for a stat? 13 different winners here and 13 tries for the Xfinity Series. 5 of them were first-time winners. 4 of the top 5 drivers in the queue right now have never won before. Could increase that number today. Will it be 6 of 14? Justin Allgaier says no, does not want that to happen. They will get the choice this time, which lane they will take at the green flag, and then they will fire off. Where's that smoke coming from, Jeff?
I think it's coming from the exhaust pipes of the 19 car, Connor Bozak. That's never a good sign.
No. Boy, and you can see it is just increasing now. He's chosen the outside, but he may come to pit road. No. That is bad. Okay, coming to the green. Overtime.
Hopefully, Mosak, whatever is going wrong with his car, isn't laying fluid down on the racetrack. Green flag is about to wave at a first attempt at an overtime restart. Justin Allgaier will have Sam Mayer, his teammate, who was in second on the inside of row 2 behind him once again. Sage Karam on the outside of row 1 as they take the green. Karam trying to side draft the 7 of Allgaier as they stay door to door. Josh Berry also in the mix on the outside of row 2 behind the 24 of Karam. Karam doing a good job going down into the first turn right now. Allgaier slides the rear tires and he's able to clear Karam, who is now in second place. And there is definitely fluid, I believe, being laid down out of the exhaust pipe of the 19, so they may get a caution here. Parker Kligerman's going to move his way up into 4th place off the restart. Josh Berry losing a couple positions right now. We'll see if we stay green. Hopefully there is no fluid, but it did look like there might have been a track laid down on the outside lane in turn 1 where the 19 of Connor Mosak was running. Maybe we'll have a Watkins Glen 2012 situation once again. Like they had in the Cup race, and there's oil laid down in the last lap of that one. Austin Hill, great recovery for him today as he bodies his way by the 26 car of Kaz Grala. Not a clean pass necessarily, but a clean recovery for himself to get up into the, looks like, 6th place position. Sage Karam trying to keep up with the 7 car of Justin Allgaier right now. Mayer is all over the back of the 24. Allgaier with a half a second lead. And the 19 car has stalled out on the racetrack as well. So there might have been fluid leaking out of Mosak's car. Not sure what area of the track he is parked on, but he is definitely stalled out and the caution flag is out again. And this will force a second overtime restart. And I believe this is caution number 7 in today's race as well. And you can definitely tell fluid is laid down in turn 1 as it looked like that was the case. And there's going to be quite a bit of cleanup from this incident, it appears.
So far around, look at all that. I mean, they had to throw the caution. You couldn't send the cars back through this.
Yeah, I think the next couple of cars through did.
Thinking that's probably water, but you still can't leave that there. It's not like it's going to evaporate by the time they get back around.
And of course, this car stopped.
Justin Allgaier's team looking on, saying, "No, we had it in hand." No pit stops here. You could put fresh tires on, but in road course racing, you just want to maintain that track position. No reason to do it here.
And so, DJ, on that restart, it looked like to me Allgaier brought everybody to the restart zone really slowly.
Yeah.
He had the pace really pulled back, and when he accelerated, Sam Mayer, he spun the rear tires, and that was an advantage to Sage Karam on the outside. Sage Karam was the first guy we've seen in the last few restarts be able to take advantage of being on the outside. He came out in second, but it all started with the 7 with a slower restart, and that gets very difficult for the guy that's behind him because you're anticipating when he's going to go, and when he goes at a slow pace, you're trying to get speed up quickly, and it's much easier to spin the rear tires. Let's see what Allgaier does this time. I'm sure he won't do the same thing because the role as the starter is to mix it up every time you can to surprise the people around you.
Yeah, so a savvy veteran, and who we're talking about here was Justin Allgaier. You can see, and so you've got a young man that's trying to win his first race right behind him. He's anticipating this, wanting to go. Yeah, you can see definitely that he spun the tires just a little bit there, and then you've got beside you a young man that has very limited experience in the stock cars and here in Sage Karam trying to make this happen. So Justin Allgaier is just using his experience to his advantage, and it will not be the same this time.
We have to hope, too, that Sam Mayer isn't getting in his own head. Remember last week at Pocono, he was so upset about how he raced his teammate, Josh Berry, in that case.
Yeah, I mean, that restart I don't think was that, Dave. It's just hard to anticipate when the guy leaves. Now, the question for Sam Mayer is what line does Sage Karam take? And whatever line he takes, you take the opposite. If Sage goes to the outside of the 7, then you go to behind the 7. If Sage goes behind the 7, you've got to take the outside.
Yeah.
You cannot give up a full 2 rows. So now he doesn't have the choice. His choice is going to be decided by what Sage believes is in his best interest.
Sage Karam with the one-off in the 24. Kevin, he's looking good right now in second.
And kind of the debate is, where do you want to be on the choose? He chose the outside last time and hung in there, but it kind of sounds like we may want to stay on the inside this time. So that debate is still going on. He asked, how is my back bumper? The one has been running into me. He said, I think it's okay at this point. And Sage said, okay, we're going to talk about that after the race. But let's just think about big picture. One-off situation. I think it's been 10 years in Indy Lights since Sage Karam has won a single-seater race. He swept a pair of races when he was 15 years old here in junior formula cars. What a day this could be. You think about what Shane Van Gisbergen did in a debut. This is not a debut for Sage Karam, but this would be a massive story if he can get this to victory lane in a fill-in opportunity.
Kevin has mentioned the Indy Next Championship in 2013. He's raced in IMSA and in trucks. He also missed his high school prom to race in the Indy 500, so, you know.
Well, yeah. That's kind of a no-brainer there. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know, he broke her heart.
Hey, but here's a thought. I was thinking about the same thing, Jeff, when you were talking about where does he line up here. But if your thought is that you can't start beside him because you can't be beside him through turn 1, then your other choice is to try to line up behind, lay back, and try to anticipate a little bit better, because your next move is going to have to be to be able to keep yourself close enough to hit the back bumper of that 7 car. That's the only way you're going to pass Justin Allgaier. I'm sorry, he's too good, and his car is too good today to think any other way.
And Justin knows that. He's got 2 guys behind him looking for their first win. Actually, Parker Klingerman also.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 3 guys behind him that are exceptionally hungry. And so Justin knows that he's got to leave turn 1 and have some space. He cannot let those guys be on his rear bumper entering turn 3, because it's just too tempting for a guy looking to win a race to get into the rear bumper and move you out of the way.
So this is great theater we're about to see. I got to tell you another couple of reasons to go see Oppenheimer, which is in theaters now, not only.
So it looks like we're going to be under a red flag condition here as they try to get the track cleaned up from fluid being laid down from the 19 car of Connor Mosak leading into that first overtime restart. This is going to set ourselves up for a second overtime restart where Justin Allgaier will continue to lead the field. He has led every lap of this race since lap 6 when he took the lead away from A.J. Allmendinger in that first stage. He has swept the stages in result, so just that one lead change, and it's going to be tough for anybody to get around him. He has been the class of the field today, but definitely a lot of speedy dry being laid down, a lot of fluid laid down from Mosak, so again, that is why we are under caution, and they did not want them to have to run all the way back around once again, burn more fuel up, so that is why we are under red flag, and it looks like most of that front stretch really is being covered by safety trucks as well, so first red flag condition of the race. We've had a couple of pretty hard hits today, so prom on a Sunday. I think they were just talking about, like, not like the Indy 500, like, in general. Like, yes, theoretically he could have went the night before, but I mean, I'm assuming he didn't go to school anywhere near Indianapolis, so I doubt that was going to work. Robert Goodrich, thanks for tuning in. Ambulance leaving the track. I didn't hear anything about that. If it is, I wonder if it may be from Alex LeBay, who had that incident earlier on. He got out of his car under his own power, but he was limping, so not quite sure.
Going forward.
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly. You know, we're TV analysts, and we can talk about it. We were drivers. We've been in both of these situations to where we felt like we were done wrong, and as the driver that was in the situation that Denny was in here, you just felt felt like you were, racing hard, and the other driver had an opportunity, as Denny pointed out, that Kyle Larson could have lifted and maybe not hit the wall, but he probably wouldn't have had a chance to win the race either. So I'll just say this: look, as competitors, we can say whatever we want. The only thing that matters is Denny Hamlin feels like he was right. He gets up on Monday morning and he can look in the mirror and say, I'm good with everything that happened there, and that's all that makes any difference. The one thing you have to realize is probably you're going to get raced differently by Kyle Larson at this point in time. Enough things have happened between the two that what you've seen and how you've raced Kyle Larson before and the way that he's raced you probably has now changed.
Yeah, and it's so competitive. That series and this series both are so competitive, and everybody's trying to get wins. Everybody's trying to position themselves to win championships. That gave Denny Hamlin his second win. That's a big deal. And you're going to see aggressive driving, and when you see that, some are going to be mad. Kyle Larson, when I heard his interview, what he was mad about was that Denny raced him the same way that he felt like he had raced Ross Chastain last year when Ross had run into Denny multiple times. And Kyle's like, hey, I deserve more respect than that, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how they work that out. This is not the first rivalry we've had in the sport, and it certainly won't be the last.
No.
And the question is, what will Kyle do? Denny was very vocal last year. I'm done with it. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I feel like I'm getting run into. I'm not putting up with it. And ultimately, he did. He made a move and took a win away, and he got a win. And now will Kyle Larson do the same thing?
I'll have to say right now, I think Kyle Larson has to make a statement. He doesn't have to go wreck Denny Hamlin. I'm just saying that he has to race Denny Hamlin differently right now and get a little bit more respect from Denny Hamlin and possibly other drivers that think. Because if you don't hear, who's going to be the next driver that's going to say, well, Larson is not going to step up. He's not going to do anything about it. So you maybe get taken advantage of by others if you don't step up at this point. Again, I'm not saying he's got to go wreck anybody. You just have to race them differently.
Fans enjoying the afternoon here. What a gorgeous day in central Wisconsin, and it's not over. They want to stay to see who wins this race. Allgaier has command right now, but he's got a restart to deal with Sage Karam and Sam Mayer and Parker Kligerman, the top four drivers right now under red before we head to the next overtime. And guys, I do want to tell everyone who watched today and watched that big hit that Alex Labbe took into the barrier in turn number one head on. NASCAR confirms for us that he has been evaluated and released from the care center.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That was just a terrible blow once again, but the safety initiatives in these race cars allow these drivers to, in these difficult situations, to get out and walk away.
Looking at the top 10, Kevin, the 51 of Jeremy Clements, former winner here, runs an 8.
Yeah, that's worth a mention because he had some contact yesterday and they had to start in the back going to a backup car today. So I mentioned what a story would be if Sage Karam could pull it off. That's what we had here, 6 years ago, 2017, when Jeremy won here in the family program, and that was one of his 2 career wins. I don't know if that's in play here today, although with the way things are going, you never know with attrition, but certainly they have made the best of the opportunity driving forward inside the top 10. Strong day for Jeremy Clements Racing and their Chevy.
And Kevin, I apologize if you mentioned it, but this is in a backup car today, DJ.
Yes.
He took his primary car here, and as I remember the story, this was an old chassis for him in 2017 as we watched him race to the win.
Yeah, we thought the strategy was going to be what we were going to talk about until they came to turn 14 here and had the contact, and then he was able to get going and eventually win the race here. And what a huge day this was for Jeremy Clements, his family, everybody involved that worked so hard, not only just to get these cars to the track every week, but to compete at a high level, and he does that. Tremendous day.
Kevin mentioned the other win that came at Daytona. What better place to win if you're a NASCAR driver? And his family built their own engines. They field the car themselves. And Jeremy now in his mid-30s is still in the series and loving it and showing well again here at Road America. Well, the dog days of summer are coming, but a great finish is coming for us at Road America.
So again, waiting out a red flag following fluid being put down on the racetrack. bringing out the most recent caution. We are in overtime, about to have a second attempt at a restart here once they get the cleanup done from the 19 car. He did not pull it into the pits. There was some leakage coming out of the race car as they were getting to the green flag. It was smoking within a couple corners prior to that, but he didn't bring it into the pits. So this could have been avoided, but unfortunately it was not. And now we're having to sit through a lengthy red flag as a result of it, but hopefully we get back to racing here shortly. And we can get to the end of this one because we've got another race coming up here later tonight. Again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have live commentary of today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series regular season finale at Richmond. And that will be an interesting one. 250-lap race around that 3/4 mile short track in Richmond, Virginia as well. So definitely want to tune in for that stream later tonight. We'll have a couple of battles to watch for that cutoff line. Can three-time champ Matt Crafton get into the playoffs once again? Will Stuart Friesen, who was in the Championship 4 a year ago, be able to make his way into the Championship 4? Matt DiBenedetto trying to make his first career playoffs for the Truck Series as well on the bubble, and rookie Nick Sanchez in contention. Regular season championship battle as well between Corey Heim and Zane Smith. So a lot of points battles to watch in tonight's race in those 250 laps. It'll be a lot of fun to break that down for you guys, and it'll be a lot of fun bringing you guys the finish of this race as well. We will be having the live commentary for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So again, 2:30 tomorrow afternoon for our Cup Series live commentary coverage. As you heard, Alex Obey check released from the Infield Care Center. He is okay following his incidents earlier in Turn 1, having a brake failure, it appeared there. And yeah, I'm not sure what somebody mentioned something about an ambulance leaving the track or whatever, and I didn't hear anything about it over the race broadcast, and so I'm not sure where that came about, but everything seems to be okay with Alex Obey, which is obviously good because that was a very violent impact. Right, Biffle, thanks for tuning in to the stream as well. Saw you pop in right before that last caution came out. Red flag has been lifted, and they are back under caution flag conditions at Road America. I hope they'll be going green this time by. They probably won't. They'll probably end up running one more lap of caution and then get back into green flag racing. Running order right now, Justin Allgaier leads, Sage Karam second, Sam Mayer is third, Parker Kligerman in fourth, Josh Berry fifth, Austin Hill sixth, Kaz Gralla seventh, Jeremy Clements eighth, Daniel Hemrick ninth, and Riley Herbst is 10th. Great recovery for Riley, 2 spins today, but still up in the top 10. Josh Balicki in 11th, Brandon Jones 12th, Jeb Burton 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, and Josh Williams 15th. Brendan Poole 16th, Parker Retzlaff 17th, Blaine Perkins 18th, Brad Perez 19th, and Ryan Sieg is 20th. A.J. Allmendinger in 21st, Joe Graff Jr. 22nd, Kyle Weatherman 23rd, Patrick Emerly 24th, 25th, Dexter Stacy, Stanton Barrett 26th, Sheldon Creed 27th, Leland Honeyman 28th, and then Connor Mosack 29th. Cole Custer 4 laps down in 30th. I believe he's out of the race now. Sammy Smith 31st, Kyle Seek 32nd, Alex Obey 33rd, John Hunter Nemechek 34th, Ryan Ellis 35th, Brett Moffitt 36th, Chandler Smith 37th, and then Catherine Legg rounds out the 38-car field in today's Road America 180. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We are 27 likes away from our goal of 100 likes on the stream, so definitely be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, truck race later tonight as well at 7:30. We're going to keep our post-race very brief so I can make sure I get something to eat here in between these streams today. With the double duty going on, a little lengthy race here for the Xfinity Series. We're closing in on the 3-hour mark, which is like near. I mean, this is a Cup Series race as far as the lapse time goes, 2.5 to 3 hours. That's what we're looking at right now. 2 hours 51 minutes and counting. So it has been a long one. Had this lengthy red flag, of course, as well. I believe 8 cautions in today's race. 28 cars on the lead lap. And again, Allgaier has led all but 5 laps in this race. They'll be getting a 1 to go signal this time by, so they will not be going green. This time we'll have 4 more miles under caution, and then hopefully we can get the finish in on this next restart. Matt Hunter, thanks for tuning into the stream. Actually, I think you were in earlier, but I appreciate it though. Mike George, first I'm seeing you in the chat. Lila Love, Sonic Kicking Mario 1943, also welcome. $75 likes now. Hit that like button, guys. Got over 100 people watching currently. We have for a while. We need to get to 100 likes. We got a little extra time to do so with the red flag coming out here late. A couple of overtime finishes. See if we can get there over the next few minutes. Does anybody have anything for Justin Allgaier? It's been the question we've been asking really since he got the lead and ran away with the Stage 1 win. And here we are a couple hours later asking the same question as we approach yet another overtime restart.
Car just in front of him. Barrett still doing Hollywood stunts, hawking the Stanton Barrett family wines. You see that on the side of the car. He runs a brewery in New York, so he's a busy boy. Makes vintage race cars for those that want to buy and race them. Kevin, what have you got on the 44 of Brad Perez?
Well, I think some people are familiar with this story, but it's worth repeating how interesting this is. This is a young man that didn't grow up starting racing when he was 7, 8 years old. He was out of high school when he started go-karting in the Miami area, eventually got into cars and spec Miata, and was working on crews. And he's done that going back and forth between doing some driving and working as a tire specialist. And that was the job he had in Portland earlier this year when Tommy Joe Martins, he had worked for Alpha Prime before, said, hey, Leland Honeyman has food poisoning. It might not finish the race. So he started the race going over the wall, finished it with a pretty good run until he said he made a mistake and took away a top 15 late in that race. Well, that led to this opportunity here this weekend. He's hoping to be able to crack inside the top 20. This is the only confirmed race he has with them, but he thinks there might be some more a little later on and really wants to do an oval. So well done for someone who's doing everything he can to get a chance to live out his dream. Brad Perez is definitely doing it. You know, I also asked him why they call him Bread, because he said where he grew up as a little kid, people had a hard time pronouncing his name, so it just kind of became a joke, and that's why his Twitter handle says Bread.
Now, if you follow him on social media, Kevin, they make light and fun with that all the time, and Brad certainly has accepted that nickname, Bread, over the course of his life. Hey, want to let you know, as it's gone a little bit long here at Road America today, all the post-race interviews will happen on the NBC Sports app and the NBC Sports YouTube channel. So make sure you either download the app if you haven't yet, or find the NBC Sports YouTube channel for all the post-race coverage. Kevin and Matt getting the word from everyone after this event, which has been eventful, to say the least, Jeff.
Well, it's getting ready to get even more eventful. You can see the drivers really working hard. You know, as a car is sat there under red flag, you lose heat in the tires, really working these tires hard to get them to launch off well, not spin on the launch, get into turn one, make grip. It's a lot of things that go into having great restarts, and it doesn't just start in the restart zone. It starts way before it, getting your brain right, getting your car ready.
Yeah, we're getting ready to see the mindset of Sage Karam here in just a second. As to where he chooses to line up beside or behind Justin Allgaier. Because he lines up behind, it's going to pretty much take contact for him to get around.
It's such a tough choice because...
Alan Williams, thanks for tuning into the stream also. About to get into the choose rule. Again, lights are out on the pace car. They will be going green this time. Just getting into turn 12 right now. So 2 more corners under caution speed. We'll get back to racing following the lengthy red flag cleanup from Connor Mosak. Laying fluid down almost all the way around this racetrack. Allgaier in the inside lane, and it looks like Mayer going to the bottom too. So Parker Kligerman going to be on the outside of row 1. He was in 4th coming up to the restart, and now all of a sudden he's going to be on the outside of this front row. So that is very interesting. And we will see how this is going to take place once they get into the restart zone. First time Kligerman's been on the front row today. Came into the race 26 points behind the cutoff. Herbst back in 11th right now, is regaining quite a few spots from what he lost in both Stage 2 and Stage 3, so we'll see what Kligerman can make the most out of here. Green flag back in the air. Kligerman did not take off well. Karam pushing the 7 car of Justin Allgaier all the way down this main straightaway, looking to the bottom. Allgaier with a block. Almost ran out of real estate to the inside of the racetrack, and now will hold clear into turn 1. Parker Kligerman, after not getting off to a firing start in that restart zone, is still stuck on the outside lane now. Austin Hill will get underneath him for 4th place rather, in turn 2. Top 3, single file. Bit of a space before you end up seeing Kligerman and Hill back there. Kligerman is going to hold on to 4th for now. Hill going to look to try to get to the inside of the 48. He'll throw a bit of a block. Sage Karam trying to charge hard after Justin Allgaier. Very deep braking into turn 5 for Karam in the 24. Austin Hill puts the bumper to the left rear corner panel of Parker Kligerman, trying to get him up off the bottom. Into turn 6, he'll be side by side for 4th once again. A little bit of a mistake there, but Justin Allgaier, he went wide in turn 6, and Sage Karam's got the lead. Allgaier makes his first mistake of the day, Karam to the lead, but then he goes wide in turn 7, 3 wide down towards turn 8. And now Mayer's wide. Allgaier's around. He's in the grass. Justin Allgaier spins, multiple mistakes on the overtime restart. And now the 2 young guns are going to go at it for the race win of Sage Karam and Sam Mayer. Karam in the outside lane. Mayer down on the bottom. Headed for the kink. Both looking for their first career wins in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Parker Kligerman closing in 3rd from behind. Allgaier not in the picture. Mayer looking to the outside lane for the upcoming turn 12. Big tire lockout by both Karam and Mayer this time. Can Mayer make the pass on the outside? He carries way too much speed into the corner. He clips the grass, and Parker Kligerman's going to get to 2nd. Is Kligerman in prime position now as Karam tries to hold on? He's off in the grass again. Same spot Nemechek went off earlier, and now Parker Kligerman leads. Mayer back to the inside of Kligerman as he puts the bumper to him, and he moves him out of the way, and Mayer's out in front. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank, this time by. A wildly chaotic finish to this race, and it may not be over yet. Sam Mayer is out in front, trying to get his first win at his home track after Allgaier, who dominated the day, had went wide more than once and ended up spinning all on his own, and now his teammate trying to pick up the win for Junior Motorsports. Parker Kligerman trying to run down the 1 car. He got around him. Mayer crossed him back over in turn 14. He's going to have about 11 more turns to catch up once again. And the 24 of Karam, who had the lead, which was short-lived, is now back to 4th. Austin Hill is up to 3rd place. And Riley Herbst is gone from 11th to 5th on the restart. He is in the top 5. Karam back to the outside of Austin Hill for 3rd. They'll be side by side into turn 5. Kligerman is about 5 to 6 car lengths behind Mayer into the braking zone. He's losing ground on Sam Mayer as we run. Austin Hill closes the gap a little bit more on the 48 as we have about a half a lap left now for Sam Mayer. Headed towards turn 7 of this 14-turn racetrack. Needed help to get it done with how dominant the 7 was today, and he got the help needed. Multiple mistakes by both Allgaier and Karam. A mistake by Mayer, which almost gave it to Parker Kligerman. He got back to the bumper of Kligerman, and he got a second chance at it. And now it's Sam Mayer trying to hold on and get the win for the first time in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career. He was a runner-up 3 times, now trying to get the win this go-around. Parker Kligerman is running out of turns to try to run him down into the kink this time. They'll have 3 more corners to go. Kligerman is digging hard, trying to get into the playoffs. So is Sam Mayer. Turn 12 coming up, right-hander, followed by a left and another right. Kligerman closes the gap just a little bit on Sam Mayer. That was the corner. Mayer went wide in the last lap. This lap he made sure to keep all 4 tires out on the racetrack. Through 13 and one more chance into turn 14. Kligerman's 2 car lengths back as he closes the gap, but Sam Mayer is going to be too far out ahead of him, and it'll be second-year sophomore driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Sam Mayer, stealing a win at Road America. His home track, and he gets it done. Unbelievable finish to this race. Kligerman second, Hill third, Sage Karam fourth, and Riley Herbst rounds out the top 5. Josh Berry finishes 6th, Kaz Gralla 7th, Josh Bilicki finishes 8th. AJ Allmendinger somehow came back to finish 9th, and Brandon Jones rounds out the top 10. Daniel Hemrick 11th, Jeb Burton 12th, Ryan Seed 13th, Parker Retzlaff 14th, Brennan Poole 15th, 16th Anthony Alfredo, Blaine Perkins in 17th. Justin Allgaier finishes 18th after that spin on the second to last lap. Brad Perez finishes 19th. And Kyle Weatherman ends up 20th. Josh Williams 21st, Patrick Emerly 22nd, 23rd, Joe Graff Jr., Stanton Barrett 24th, Dexter Stacy 25th, Sheldon Craig 26th, Jeremy Clements, last car in the lead lap, finishes 27th. Leland Honeyman 4 laps down in 28th, Connor Mosack 29th, Cole Custer 30th, Sammy Smith 31st, Kyle Sieg 32nd, 33rd place will be Alex LeBay, John Hunter Nemechek 34th, Ryan Ellis 35th, Brett Moffitt 36th, Chandler Smith 37th, and Catherine Legg 38th, rounding out the field today. 3 hours, 2 minutes, 20 seconds total time on this race. Green flag to checkered flag, 67.040 miles per hour was the average race speed. We went 4 laps past the scheduled distance, 2 overtime finishes, 8 cautions, and Sam Mayer only led 2 laps today, and it was the final 2, the most important of the race. Allgaier, who won the first 2 stages and led 42 of the 49 laps today, finishes 19th after making multiple mistakes on the last restart, including a spin that he was trying to push it deep into turn 8 to get back after the 2 cars that had overtaken him on the restart, and Mayer is now a winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I'm going to flip my phone over to Peacock here because that is where all the post-race interviews are taking place. So I will do that so you can hear from your race winner, Sam Mayer. Because this is an interview I don't want to miss, and I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want to miss either. So stay tuned here for just a second. Got to find Peacock on my phone. I don't even know if I've got the app on my phone. No, I do. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking there. I don't even know what to look for. Oh, here we go. I believe I've got it. I hope I do. Watch now. It's a little bit delayed. Yeah, they're still showing the finish of the race right now with Sage Karam, Sam Mayer, so it might be a couple minutes before we get the Mayer interview. They're still having a lap and a half to go yet. Curious what the call sounded like. Oh, this is a replay. Never mind. They're just showing the replay of the incident. I thought it was a little bit delayed, but I guess not. Yeah, NBC, no interviews there. They went past the scheduled distance. I don't know what's coming up on NBC right now, but all the interviews will be on Peacock, and then you can go on YouTube on the NBC Motorsports page, and they'll also have post-race interviews there as well. Sam I Am 224, thanks for tuning in. Easy E Network, thanks for watching here in the late going, and what a crazy finish this was. We had to wait with the red flag, but it might have been well worth the wait with everything that transpired there in those final 2 laps. Dark Crypto, thanks for tuning in also. wild finish to this one. I mean, I thought Karam had it. I thought Kligerman had it. Thought Allgaier had it for the whole race. A lot of damage on Sam Mayer's race car. I'm not sure where that came from, but might have been from the burnout. I don't know.
He's got to go find the entrance to pit road is what he's got to do. Down at the bottom of the hill going.
At this point,
There
why
he
not
is.
just cut across? He's done it.
That's what I was thinking. Back up the hill, down pit lane, and that's where he'll find victory lane. So what a day for Sam Mayer. Again, last week, disappointment at Pocono after the way he had raced his teammate Josh Berry. He was disillusioned. Now he is in victory lane. He is the next driver to get his name in yellow for the playoffs. You see 8 different winners now on the season, DJ.
Yeah, and this is just shaping up to think that what the playoffs, the potential that is there. I mean, the chaos that we saw today, that could be exactly what the playoffs look like for these Xfinity drivers and teams.
Sam was in good shape points-wise, but this is now the guarantee into the playoffs. Matt Yoakum is in victory lane.
Well, Dave, you can just add a little bit more damage to the front of that car. When he came into victory lane, as his father, Scott, comes up to the car, congratulates his son, Sam. Mayer's once again in victory lane here. He came in and he ripped up some of the plastic checkerboard here in victory lane.
Of course he did.
Getting ready to climb out. 14 here at Road America. Every little kid dreams, especially following in your dad's footsteps, of winning and then winning at your home track. The dream, did it match reality today?
Oh my God. Oh my God, this car is a fast Xfinity 10G. It was just about getting track position, and we had it there at the end. I lost it for a second, and then, I mean, all hell broke loose there at the end, and we ended up on top. Oh my God, this team is so special to get that first win. I mean, that monkey off your back, that feels so good. I felt it all day. Like, I felt like if I can do this one, I can do anything, and we came here today and did that.
Third to first, then third, you made your way to second, and then back to first. How much did the speedy dry make the challenge even greater trying to get the win?
Yeah, because I was going to pass him off into 13 or 12 or whatever, and it went straight. There was no grip out there offline, and probably a stupid decision to go on the outside of someone like that, but all's well that ends well, I guess.
All right, Sam Mayer, first-time winner in NASCAR's Xfinity Series, and what better place to do it than your home turf, right down the road from where you grew up.
No question, Matt, and that, of course, came from the Ruoff Victory Lane. Thanks to Ruoff Mortgage for their support of the series, and
Sam Mayer gets the win for this NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Road America, as you heard. Wild finish, second overtime there. Justin Allgaier just made a couple mistakes there finishing up. Went through the finishing order already. We didn't really have any other race stats. I mean, we only had 2 lead changes today. Allgaier taking the lead at lap 5, and then Mayer on the second to last lap of the race getting to the race lead as well. But a lot of passes for the lead in that final second to last lap. Specifically, Karam got the lead away from Allgaier, and then Allgaier ended up, he fell back to third, and then Mayer took the lead away from Karam. Karam got back to the lead again, and then Mayer ended up in the lead when the 7 went wide and spun the second time. And then the 48 of Kligerman got by both Mayer and Karam in the final couple of corners on that second to last lap. Mayer got back to the bumper of Kligerman in turn 14. Little bump and run, got back to the lead again, and then wasn't able to allow Parker Kligerman to get back and try to put the bumper to Mayer himself there in those final couple corners. So Sam Mayer going to get his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. Margin of victory, 0.3 of a second over Parker Kligerman, who ended up second. And again, Mayer led just 2 laps today, but that's all he needed to do. He led the 2 most important laps there on that final restart. That is going to end the coverage for the NBC portion of Road America for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Once again, a reminder, in about another hour, the NASCAR Truck Series will be taking place at Richmond We will have live commentary for that race at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Also tomorrow, NASCAR Cup Series racing at Richmond as well, and that will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, 2:30 tomorrow. Listen in, as well as 7:30 tonight for the regular season finale for the Truck Series. So appreciate it, guys. I will see you guys in about another hour or so. Thanks for watching the Road America 180 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Road America live on KRC.